Emojis, anything?
Keep smiling, keep smiling, keep smiling.
That's what we need.
Do you want a piece of tissue still?
If it was a non-string meeting, I'd probably do it just for the laugh.
That's the only reason my daddy did it.
Okay.
All right, please continue.
We'll start off with giving an update on the paving projects. Paving on Rustic Acres Road is complete. Calcar is currently paving Schnellville Road, and as long as the rain holds off, they should be able to get that complete this week, and then we'll get out there to install the paint workings. Old Petersburg Road, 490 West and 580 North will still be paved yet this year by Calcar. The contract completion date on that is October 31st, but they may be asking for an extension on that by a week or two. I told them we can work with them on that because they've been good to work with. So that takes us into future paving projects, which will be through Community Crossings. That application opened up on October 1st, and it will close on October 31st. So Donnie went out and ran all the roads to get our PASER ratings, and we looked at, basically evaluated all of them to determine which ones were candidates for hot mix asphalt. So I've got 3 roads I listed there. They are Club Road, St. Anthony Road North, and 550 West. In total, it's about 12.5 miles. And I figured price estimates on that, and it came up to about $1.39 million to do that work. So
is that common for county roads, about $100,000 a mile? Is that what we're looking at now?
pretty close to it. We're a little up now with just the cost of inflation and such. I'm coming in around anywhere from 105 to 110,000 a mile now.
And what does that, and is that's 2 lanes on a normal size county road?
2 lanes, anywhere from 11, 12 foot wide for each lane, so 20 to 20 foot wide width in total. And that's my estimates. We hope that construction costs actually come in a little lower, and they're usually right around 100,000 a mile.
No, that's great.
That's no milling included, just the paving. So I would like to request the board's approval to proceed with those 3 roads to submit to NDOT for community crossings. And then that will lead into the second part of that, which is there's a financial commitment letter that is required to be submitted with the community crossings application. That's just saying that the county is going to participate and fund this project financially.
So you handed that to me earlier, now I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Is it right? Is that it?
No,
It should have a green,
This is the tank.
should have a little green sticker. There it is. So I'm gonna explain what this area is a little bit too. So NDOT will cap it at $1 million per agency this year. It used to be $1.5 million.
Okay.
So my estimates came in at 1.39 million and some change. So we want to get at least $1.2 million worth of work because NDOT will pay up to $1 million and we have to match at 20%. So that's 1.2 million. Well, I want to put a little bit of a buffer in there because if my estimates end up being higher than what the contractor bids it at, we don't want to leave money on the table. We want to make sure we get as much money as we can. So 1.39 million was a good number. I was shooting for 1.4, came in just under that. So it would be $391,843.55 is what the county will be financially responsible for based on my construction estimates. And I am going to ask for those appropriations from the council. Typically, those appropriations I would not request until after NDOT awards funds. However, the timeline that NDOT has set from here's your money, now you need to get into a contract with the contractor, it has been reduced from 4 months to 3 months. So when you start doing the timeline of here's funds. Now we have to advertise it for appropriations. We have to get them approved, and we got to start the bidding process. It's going to be pushing it very close to borderline. It's not achievable to get in contract with the contractor in that 3-month window. So the only way that I could see doing it is to ask for the appropriations ahead of time to make sure that we've got that. Now, we may not get awarded funds, which is fine. It can go back to the fund that we get the appropriations from. But in order to make the timeline work, with NDOT's change in their rules, we'd have to request the appropriations ahead of time. So I'm wanting to request that from the council this month. And I'm going to request 100% of it to come out of the lit fund because we don't have very much in our highway fund. Normally we would, in the years past, sometimes it would be funded a certain portion out of lit and a certain percentage out of highway, depending on what the council wanted to do. But I'm going to request 100% out of lit because we've only got a little over 100,000 in highway to take us through to the end of the year. The highway fund will have more money going into it next year, but then I run into the same issue where I need to request these ahead of time because NDOT is anticipating awarding these funds in December of this year. That is what they're telling us. So if they award them,
They're speeding up.
they are speeding everything up. It's just the changes they've got. And so counties are having to adjust and making sure we're adjusting accordingly. So that way we don't make ourselves ineligible for funds.
I think everything that he's saying as far as the timeline makes sense to me, and I think we should approve it. Mr. Ross, are you have any thoughts?
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
Jumping on somebody? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve signing the Community Crossings Grant Financial Commitment Letter. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay.
And are we on the ADA thing? Are we in good shape with them?
That's the next one on my list here.
Okay, I
So,
apologize, I didn't even notice that.
as I talked about in the previous commissioner meetings, the ADA transition plan needs to be updated by the county. Our baseline on that plan is from 2012, so it's at the point where we don't need an entirely new plan, but we need to hire some help to come in and get it to where it needs to be at. I've been working with Lockmiller on that there, but the next steps are, before entering into an agreement with them, is to get the funds requested and approved from the council. So we're going to advertise for $50,000 from the general fund. And there is an ADA line item already established under the general fund. That $50,000 is, will definitely cover the cost of the ADA transition plan. I'm only anticipating it to be $35,000 to $45,000, but I want to make sure we're covered. And so in the meantime, when we submit the Community Crossings application, I will be submitting a commitment letter to them saying, we may not be in compliance right now, but this is what we're going to be doing. These are the action items. And that pretty much just buys us time. It says that we're working on it, we're making good faith efforts, this is our plan. So just, we want to be eligible for funds. That's kind of how we're going to be able to do that, is write that commitment letter. So with your approval, I'd like to go to the council and request the $50,000 for the ADA line item for the transition plan.
I don't like it. I don't like having to pay extra money for a consultant to do this, but I think we're at a point where we have a new engineer. This is where we are. We need help getting it done. And I think that this is what this will cost. I think it's my feeling is we don't have an option other than to do this. We're on a time crunch and we should improve it, is what I'm thinking.
I don't like requesting this money. I want to make that clear to everybody. I want to do as much as we can in-house. This will be done in-house from year after year after year. We treat it as a living document. I've reached out to other counties as well. I've got several counties on my list. Everyone I've talked to is paying a consultant to get it redone, or they're hiring someone else full-time internally. I've done my due diligence on it. Yes, it's a lot of money, but like Chad said, don't have a whole lot of choice on this. And I try to make it work internally. Me doing it, it's not going to work in this situation. So.
And I did sit in a meeting with him as we discussed this and getting it done. I think we can get it done and have a good project or a good document. just not fun. And I don't want to just repeat things he said, but I would insist that he keeps it current going forward. He said he would, so I think we'll be in good shape.
It's on record, right?
And also if we get a not to exceed price, hopefully closer to the 35, that would make us feel better, or make me feel better at least. And I do support doing this. Commissioner Oster,
Yeah, I support forward with this and you taking care of it in the future.
Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
and the other thing too, if you do go forward with the amount of $50,000, then whatever the remaining amount is, hopefully it's $15,000. They come in and they do $35,000 worth of work, we have 15 left. If the county administrator position is filled for the first time in probably 10 years, maybe we can do a little more of a significant project to help the county in the area of American Disability Act.
Yeah, thanks for noting that, because that would be my intentions, is the funds would be used for the ADA projects. And that's why I meant to mention that earlier, that's why I'm also asking for 50,000 to ensure that we're covered on cost wise, and also to be able to say, hey, we're going to use this for the ADA projects.
Sure.
Because ideally what will happen is a consultant will come in, they'll look at every office, every room, they'll look at our infrastructure. The reason it costs so much is they're gonna check out every piece of our infrastructure. And they're gonna say, this isn't compliant, this isn't compliant, here's how you can make improvements so that people that Americans with disabilities can have the same access to governmental services that everyone else does. And it'll be great. We'll be able to make a number of those improvements pretty easily or inexpensively, and then on the next year's document, those things aren't on there anymore. They're going to show as a job done instead of a job to do. And I think that's a good way to proceed. I'll make a motion that we give our support to Mr. Leffert to move forward to the county council for those appropriations.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. Moving on to the next item, it's the bridge safety improvement. So you may recall this project from last year. This was a federal call for projects that opened up in November of 2024 initially, and the county had intended to apply for that. That grant project was to be able to add safety improvements to a lot of our bridge railings and guardrails, because we're currently not in compliance on most of our bridges. And Du Bois County has 162 bridges, approximately 75% have railings and guardrail end treatments that are not in compliance per the National Bridge inspection. So unfortunately, we were not able to apply for that application last year, which leads us to this year. They're going to be opening that call for projects again sometime in November. And I would like to go ahead and submit an application for that, because the legwork has already been done. The application is complete, other than updating the dates. And big thing to mention on this one is it's a 90-10 match. So the county would only be financially responsible for 10%. Back in 2024, the previous county engineer had a financial commitment letter that was signed by the council with the estimated funds for each year, and I've got those listed there in the notes. And so I would like to take this letter with update the dates on there and all the years we pushed back, which I already updated those years. So fiscal year 27 to 27, and so forth. So I would like to take it to the council this end of this month and see if they're still on board. They were a year ago, but I just want to make sure that they still are. So with your approval, I'd like to, if you support this project, I would like to, it would be about $400, I didn't put that in there, but it's about $440,000 over a 3-year time period that the county would be responsible for. And the financial commitment letter is one of those things that's required to submit with the application.
And you're saying that commitment of $400,000 is only 10% of the total cost of
Yeah.
the project. So we're looking at a lot of money coming in if this goes as we would hope.
You're looking at $4 million, excuse me,
Right.
$4 million.
And so if they approve half of that, then our investment would be half of that.
Yes, that's correct.
So this is one of those where you can't really go wrong.
Yeah. And it's and again, it's doing what's right, which is safety, major safety upgrades and improvements. And it's not uncommon to have railings and in treatments that aren't up to code. It's, our neighboring counties are gonna be in the same boat. It is what it is. We don't have the funds to get everyone up to compliance, but if we got a chance to do a 90% match on it, and that would take care of 50 to 60 bridges. Not all of them, but 50 to 60. It's quite
I
a
will
few.
remember this one last year when Brent was in here. And the state, or whoever was running this program, did it differently last year than they ever had in the years past. And so we missed the deadline by a day. I mean, it's something that they weren't willing to
Yeah.
work with. And they said, nope, just come.
It's unfortunate.
And the 8 years prior to that, the way he was doing it would have worked just fine. They changed it. So that's why we were out last year. It wasn't really our fault.
It
It
wasn't.
just kind of worked out that way. But I definitely approve moving forward if the rest of the board does. Mr. Stefano?
Yes, absolutely. I
Okay.
didn't realize we had
Well, it's like a great
162
investment
bridges.
to me.
Yeah. That's,
Okay.
that's full-size bridges, not the small ones yet. So.
All right, you have our support to move that forward to the county council to try to get some funding.
Excellent, thank you.
Sir.
So going into item number 4, additional appropriations, this is the last one I'll be asking for money for. But Cume Bridge, with your approval, I'd like to request $150,000 to come out of Cume Bridge materials line item. $150,000 is to get us through to the end of the year to continue paying for materials that are needed for bridge and box culvert projects. We simply just ran out of those funds. We're getting close to running out. We need that additional money to continue doing bridge work.
Can you go ahead and address the second bullet point?
Yes, second bullet point is also out of Cume Bridge, but it's out of tools and equipment line item in the amount of $11,000. This is to replace a welder on one of the bridge crews' truck. The welder is 31 years old. Our in-house mechanic has repaired it multiple times. It's down to the point that it's no longer repairable. It's reached its service life, and so we need a new one. And it's needed because we use that welder/generator on the job sites. So the
It only
11,000.
lasted 31 years. What
Yes.
junk.
Right? You take better care of our stuff.
That's right. Well, that's wonderful. And
It's
we,
impressive.
yeah, it is impressive. We appreciate the work that the crew does to maintain the equipment and the mechanics to keep it moving. I mean, it's a piece of material, of equipment we have to have, so I'm in favor of it. How about the rest of the board?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we allow Mr. Leather to move forward to the county council to request $150,000 for materials and $11,000 for tools and equipment.
All the appropriations I discussed are all on that there sheet of paper if you guys could sign it.
So I got a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
County Road 850 West concrete stream crossing through Sugar Creek. Bridge crew is working on that. It's now complete. If you look at your my agenda there, I attached some pictures on the back. That first picture there, you'll be able to see what it looks like. And then,
So this is that one that was by Holland that was all broken down? Is that-
yeah, there was 2 of them near Holland.
Yes.
That's the one to the northwest
Yes.
of Holland.
Okay,
Yeah, so that one was, and that's the one that had the road that was closed for, I don't know how long, but it was closed because the stream crossing was unpassable
right.
quite a time. So we ended up getting that road back open.
Okay.
This is not the one that they weren't, I think Brent thought about putting a bridge in there on 10, that was on 1025. This is the other one.
This is the one to the north. The one to the south is that a different one on here?
The one to the south is a dirt road all the way
Yes.
through. And that's the one that that's the one came back was gonna cost a little bit more, closer to the $25,000-$30,000. And that's the one I had to talk with you guys to
Yes.
see what we want to do on that. But
So that one's still a work in
that one's
progress.
still a work in progress, may not be worked on until next year, it's likely.
Okay, so we've got the County Road 850 West concrete stream crossing is complete. And what else we have here?
And then Bridge 29, I want to give an update on that. That is on 400 East, approximately 2.7 miles north of State Road 56. That road was closed on September 22nd, and it is nearing completion. The bridge deck was poured last week. If you look at those pictures, you'll see the deck being poured. You also see the new beams that were set. And now we're waiting for the concrete to cure. And in the meantime, while the concrete is curing, the roadway crew is going to come in and raise the road because the bridge had to be raised approximately 1 foot. So the road crew, like I said, will raise the road about 1 foot to allow for a smooth transition up to the bridge. And then once concrete reaches its strength and the roadway is raised, we'll open it up to traffic. Best case scenario, end of this week. If not this week, it'll be next week. So that
What do
gives
they
us,
do? They just make a big slope? I mean, it's,
they will just tear it in, so they'll go back so far. That's a chip seal road, so they'll rip the road up, base, and then just build it up, and it will go up to 1 foot of depth at the bridge and just feather down to 0 inches of depth so far back. We just go back far enough to get a good smooth transition. It's pretty common we do bridge replacements that we have to raise everything up a little bit. So you'll see pictures there. Just want to give you an update on that. And have any questions? Otherwise, that's all I have for today.
looks like nice work. I don't have any questions.
No
Anybody else? All right, well, thank you, sir.
very much. Here's this one.
I think we did that for anything that was moving money and we signed the thing. Yes, sir. You need this any further? Okay, let's keep rolling. We have a lot on the agenda this morning. We'll do health insurance. Mr. Rhodes as well.
Good morning. This should be pretty short and sweet, but just coming up with, this is just want to get your guys' approval to go ahead and move forward that Good Samaritan Fund program. I know you guys agreed to it in the past. We've just been going back and forth, finally got the verbiage updated and corrected for the county. So we do have everything in hand. Just quick overview if you remember. So the Good Samaritan Fund, it's obviously going to be targeting your larger, your lasers, your large dollar members that are incurring costs to your health plan. It's a great resource to have. Like I said, it's free to the county. If we go through with it, no one signs up, it's free to the county. Just really want to come up here and say we're ready to go. If we can get your guys' blessing to go ahead and move that forward. Like I said, another great resource for members and employees here at the county. But any questions?
I don't recall, Mayor, if we reviewed that in its final form. I don't remember.
Yeah, the Good Samaritan Fund. Yeah, he's getting tired of it.
Yeah, that's all the way back and forth.
Okay, then yes, I have.
We did a original, but I didn't know if there's any major changes.
No, some of my language, and then I think we had jurisdiction and then
Yeah.
discussion on juries and things, but I think we're fine.
So the only thing that I keep getting hung up on, two things. One, is this going to be just run through our regular health insurance? We have a $4 million budget. Is this just going, we have somebody sign up for this? Are we going to take it out of that? Or is there going to have to be a different appropriation to cover anybody who's on that? Or do you-
I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah,
I would roll it out of the county just to the general medical is what I would do.
So we
Yeah.
just pay
'Cause
this
it's the same.
bill just like we pay everything else?
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, you get invoiced.
But we're gonna know because it's gonna be done before open enrollment, because during open enrollment, people's gonna decide whether they're gonna join the DuBois County Health Plan or they're gonna join this.
So it's a one and done?
So it's gonna be, yeah, right, so we're gonna know after, at the end of open enrollment, we're gonna know if anybody's on or not. So,
Yeah.
Is
So
this,
does UGS take care of this or no? This is
No, this is
separate?
solely them, and then you won't get anything. You won't get medical
So we'll
claims
just
or
get
anything
it,
else.
we'll pay the bill.
You'll get the
one
invoice,
invoice, one done,
and then
for a year.
they will talk directly with the member then that signed up. They will handle everything for them.
That makes sense.
I don't recall if they decided open enrollment next year, they don't like it, they're not welcome back, are they? Or are they welcome back?
Yes, they
They
can
do
join.
come back on your plan. It's
Yeah.
100% voluntary.
So that, okay, for some reason, I was thinking, once they switched off, that was their decision.
For that year.
For the
But it's only for the year, it's not
Yeah,
indefinite.
correct, yeah.
So I've said this multiple times, the thing that concerns me is, how much is it? If a single person,
Single person, it's 55,000.
so we invest $55,000 at open enrollment. The month later, they decide they want to work at Jasper Engines instead, we're out that money. And they maybe have done 0 health insurance, right, over that time, so if they are a long-term county employee, we come out ahead because they're a high claimant, and this $55,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it's a lot
Yeah, but
less
if
than
you're paying
what they would have
300,000,
been. So that's my only concern with it, but I think it may be a risk worth taking. What's the board's thought?
And when we're talking a handful of employees / dependents here, it's not gonna be something, I'm thinking probably 5 to 8% would actually qualify for this program
Yeah.
anyway.
And
So,
out of that, they would have to choose to do it.
correct, yes.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
so there,
Okay.
it's not like it's gonna be for the general population, it's gotta be rolled out to everybody through legally and compliance, but, the likelihood of qualifying is just gonna be those major high claimants.
Okay.
And I'm sure Marky's gonna educate our employee that wants to work through that.
So the benefit to the employee would be, if currently they're paying, say, $4,000 a year out of pocket, they would pay 0 out of pocket if they switch to this. So that is the benefit for them.
Yeah. And they get to join more of a national network, it's gonna be an Indiana marketplace plan, so probably gonna be an Anthem plan or comparable, so, they wouldn't have restricted networks or anything like that to deal with, so. And there is some advantages, we also got low premiums, low deductibles, so again, the likelihood of a lot of people moving, it's probably gonna be slimmer, but, I think it is a good offering to, especially take some liability off our medical plan and cost.
I think I'm fine with leaving it as an option.
Yeah, I'd like to move forward.
Okay, I'll just vote for the record, I'll make a motion that we approve signing the agreement with the Good Sam program to implement for the next fiscal year.
2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Motion carried.
That's all I think we got, yeah, 'cause that comes like a DocuSign or
Yeah,
something.
right, yeah, it'll be signed by you. I'll let Marky know when it's coming through. But,
That sounds good.
yeah, that's all we got. Thank y'all.
Thanks.
thank you.
For the recorder, will you take more than 4 minutes? Come on up.
I'm coming to you guys again, on switching the software from CSI to Fiddler. And it was pending the attorney's approval of the contract, which I've done, so I'm just here to get
Mr.
a
Chair,
final
comments?
approval.
I addressed it with the recorder, and I think they got squared away.
Okay, would you like our signature, would you like us to sign it, or would
It
you
don't
like
matter,
us
if you guys
do the
want to
approval?
sign it, or I can sign it, doesn't matter.
Mr. Chair, she's an elected official.
She's an elected official, she qualifies as an officer under the statute and our ordinance, so either way is fine.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Fiddler contract and allow the county recorder to sign.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, Linda.
Make sure I get a copy, please. Jackie, just make sure I get one to upload.
Sure.
And I will submit it.
Now what are we gonna do with the other 3 minutes we have? Okay, so we do have a couple minutes until we have a bid opening for the owner occupied rehabilitation. And let's have you come on up. We'll, do we need to make a call to see if there's any other bids that came in?
They were due at 8. Good morning.
Any other dates?
Yeah. Some of them were really good. Yeah. We went over to some Pee Wee football over at the Huntingburg, Southbridge Stadium, and they're better than we used to in high school.
There's a very large size difference in kids that get in 6th grade.
That's very,
There's some very tall.
One dad in the crowd said, "Is that a freshman?"
It's a grown man up there.
They drove the bus.
That's right.
Good morning,
So yes, we are a minute or two early, so we won't open the bids for a couple minutes.
but I will go ahead and give you my spiel. Jenny Lattice, Indiana 15 Regional Planning Commission, here for the final bid opening of the HELP OOR program. We've been doing this for a year. We started opening bids in October of last year. We have a lot of work to get done in the next month and a half on getting homes final inspections, working with our inspector on that, getting any of this final work done today. Mr. Schneer has let me know that there are 3 bids, which is better than 0 bids. But there are, as you can see, there's a lot of work on here. After we open these, and I have a sheet that we can discuss when we do, when I come back and do recommendations, if that's okay.
That would be fine.
Okay.
So let's talk, because again, I want to give every last minute to somebody that's gonna put in a bid. We got a couple more minutes.
They were due at 8 o'clock,
Oh, they were due at 8 o'clock, so
so
we're
you're
not.
good, yeah.
Okay, I guess we have 2 minutes for that to open them. So here's, I want to bring up a few items.
Yep.
One, I sent you a
Yep.
email. I panicked just like I did the last month because Okra sends us a letter saying you're out of compliance, and since you're out of compliance, you can't get any more grant funds. And I think it's just, will you
Until we
explain that?
close, yeah. So we receive it because we have not closed out this grant. As soon as we get all of the work completed, inspections completed, request the final money, and it gets paid out, we can close out the grant and the county then is eligible. If you look down the list of projects that are not in compliance with that, there's a lot of help programs.
So is this something that we should have been done 2 months ago, and that's why we're not?
Some of them are done, some of it's some counties are still trying to work through their OOR. I think Okra has now developed a better system of how they get information out to grant administrators like myself on how to run the programs more smoothly, how to get bid, when we first started this program, we were under the misconception that we had to have all homes inspected and ready to bid before we could bid out our first group. That is not the case. It's best to get a chunk inspected, bid them out, get a chunk inspected, bid them out. We know that now, but
So we inspected a bunch of houses that we didn't need to.
no, we needed to inspect them all, but we didn't have to have all 40 done at one time.
I see.
We could have
Because
been,
some of those 40 aren't getting any work done.
yeah, some of them
So
have.
that's where the wastefulness.
Yeah,
of
yeah. So there could have been things that have done better, and unfortunately, it was a learning curve, but we have, there are only 4 homes, 5, that have not received any work at all, and I'm hoping there's some of those in that pile that we'll knock out today. But Mr. Schneer looks ready.
Okay, and then before we do that again,
Yes, sir.
so the part with the inspections. So can you, after today, we're gonna have, all 5 of those that we haven't had any work, they're gonna get work today. We're gonna pretend that that's the case.
Yes.
So that happens, the work gets done in October, it's done November 1st. How long does the inspector have to go back in, look at the work and give you the things that they need?
He has until, he has let me know that his insurance and his licensing, his thing goes to the beginning of December. We would like it completed as quickly as possible. I will show you this real quick. This is what I was gonna discuss later,
Okay.
but just so you have a better idea. Anything that is out here that is not a name that is highlighted. I did not print one for you, I'm sorry. I didn't think you wanted more paper. Anything that's over here in the work columns that is yellow, that's what they need done on their homes yet. If you notice, there's one column that is a lot more yellow than the others. Electrical. We have received very few bids for electrical, and if they have come in, it has been homes that have already received a new roof or a new HVAC system. And the electrical may be coming in at $17,000. Well, you've already got a new roof and we have a $20,000 cap. So after today, if there are not bids received on a lot of these, I can execute change orders with the homeowner noting that, hey, you've received this work. We are not going to complete this work on your home. And Mr. Curtis can start in on his inspections later this week. If I can get those executed with homeowners, then he can move through a lot of those.
So if I was to count these, there's 39 here, is that right? 40?
40.
40.
Mhm.
And And so the third person on here,
Yes.
they had no work done, so there's no need for them to come in and get an inspection.
They have not had work completed. There might be work in this pile.
Right, but
Yeah.
this time, there wouldn't be any.
There would not be a need, at this time, there would not be a need to inspect
Okay.
that, correct?
So it seems like a big ask of the inspector to get 30 plus done in 30 days, or is it not?
No, he would have until, at least until the middle of November, if not the end of November. So,
Okay, so you could, theoretically, we open these today, inspections can start
it could start this,
today,
yeah,
so maybe it's a month and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's go ahead and open these bids.
Okay. Have GBE Construction Group,
One more time?
GBE
GBE, got it.
Construction Group Incorporated, they are out of Evansville. They have submitted a bid for roofing repairs for a Greener Road address. That bid is in the amount of
hold on just a second. Okay, it's on that page.
$23,483.80. 23483.80. And that was roofing at Greener Road.
I still haven't found that one.
Top, back page, top line.
There it is. And how much was that, please? I know we're making you repeat one.
You're fine. 23483.80.
And so, when people were given this information, did they know that the cap is $20,000? So why would they turn in a bid that's above that? Okay, no, I just,
I don't know if
Okay,
it's just to
no,
let
it's
us
fine.
know that this is what it.
what it could cost,
Yeah.
okay?
We also have for roofing, a West First Street address, Huntingburg.
Back page,
And that bid is in the amount of $31,221.90.
Same company.
yes.
31221.90. Yes, those are both from GBE. Then we have from Kelly's Heating and Cooling, these are bids for HVAC. We have, this is for a Baden Strauss Jasper property.
$46.95,
No, the other one, 4458.
4458.
That bid is in the amount of $8,400. Can you repeat that? 8,400?
So that's a case where this person has had work done in other areas, but if you add this onto it, it's still going to be working.
It is still doing it, yes, we can't complete that work, with the funds that they have available.
Next bid, same provider, Kelly's Heating and Cooling, for HVAC services at a Cherry Street address, Huntingburg.
Back page,
And that bid is in the amount of $14,860. 14860. Kelly's Heating and Cooling for HVAC services on a Chestnut Street, Huntingburg address.
bottom of the first page,
That bid is in the amount of $5,145. 5145. Then we have the same bidder, Kelly's Heating and Cooling, with a HVAC services bid at Terrace Avenue, Jasper.
Back page.
yeah.
That bid is in the amount of $362, 362. The final bid from Kelly's Heating and Cooling is for HVAC services on Cottonwood Lane, Jasper.
Front page, towards the middle,
That bid is in the amount of $8,950, 8950. we have, bids, not quite, I need some extra set of eyes on it, from Lindsay's Lumber and Builders. I have,
I think I don't think it's at all. I think we did just a,
this.
Good news is, it looks like some of the work will get done.
Mhm.
Some of these fit within what's left. Might be a good time to be an electrician. It looks like there's work and more work than there's people.
I was looking at what the majority of it was for.
Who's the biggest electrical contractor in the county now? Do you have to deal with them with your line of work at
No,
all?
not so much, no, not so much. I mean, there's Messmer's, Mariners.
So just general mechanical people, that's not, it's not the only electrician.
Right, right.
not doing that, yeah, okay. Because I said, we need to highlight what you're actually doing.
I reached out to a couple of people early on about this to bid and stuff like that, and I said, I haven't heard back, so kind of disappointing. But we could have more people to reach out for this,
Right.
to do the work,
Yeah.
to do the work.
I would say, that there's someone that's not doing that.
Okay, after reviewing it, this is a bid for Beard Drive, Jasper.
Middle of the first page.
First page, middle, right above a bid from Kelly's.
And again, this bid is from Lindsay's Lumber and Builder Supply. This is for some of the electrical upgrades that were spec'd out. Shared those with Indiana 15. The amount of the bid is $6,238, 6238. This will have to be reviewed a little bit, make sure it's got everything in place, make sure it's a responsive bid. So
That was their lone electrical work they were gonna do.
one project.
One project.
Okay.
That's like determined.
I will go look and run numbers again real quick. This should be very quick, but whenever you have another moment.
So Region 15 will review and see if the bids are in order and which ones we will accept and which ones we can't. Before that, so is there, you folks are with the inspectors, correct? Or who?
No,
Oh, I thought you were Curtis was
No.
because I mentioned to them that they could come, so I apologize. I just made assumption you were somebody else. So I thought, because Curtis, as I said, if you want to talk to us, we'll be here at whatever the time was, and
so I plan to go back today after we do these. Get my homeowners, get the change orders executed with them today, first thing tomorrow, get those to Mr. Curtis and he can begin.
again,
So
they're just getting nervous because they got a lot of work to do.
they have a lot of work to do in a short
And I
time.
apologize for keeping looking at you people. Folks. I was thinking, you're not making much of a.
I didn't know who they were and I thought you maybe knew.
I thought they were someone else, so I apologize again.
That's all right. But yes, this is, a lot of this was dependent upon today and how we proceed in the next few weeks was very dependent on today. Am I nervous? Very nervous, yes, I will.
So it's a good thing we got some work to do,
But we
but
have,
there's gonna be a crunch here at the end. So, okay, we'll hear from you here in a little while. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Mr. Young?
All right.
So you're opening some bids too. Mr. Snare, it's 8:57. Should we wait 3 minutes?
We should wait 3 minutes.
And when were these bids
Ryan,
due?
give you a little filler.
Those bids were for a remount of our ambulance truck number 431. It is a 2019, I believe. Currently has 190,000 miles on it. And it would be looking to remount that in 2027, because we're still about 18 months out of initial time. So in that 18 months, we likely put another 100,000 miles on it.
And while 18 months sounds terrible, it doesn't sound as terrible as over 2 years for what we were getting a couple years ago.
Yeah, yes, correct. For a new one, that's about 3 years still. For a remount, we were about 2, so it is getting some shorter. And I think the newer ones are, the timeframe on that's getting shorter as well.
But for the board's knowledge, how are the remounts been holding up? How's that been working?
Remounts have been holding up pretty good. I think structurally they're fine. We've had a few issues here and there. The second one we've done, we've had more issues with. We had to take that back to the remount company, and they had to do some work on it. So that was not what we wanted to have happen. I think that's one of the issues we're running into with some of the remount company that we're using is they don't provide an on-site service. So if anything particular has to be fixed, you have to take it back to South Bend. So that's one issue we've had. But I would still say 100% of remounts the way they at this point with the, so we have 431 was the start of our the big 550 trucks that we have, and the boxes on those are still in really good shape. So it would be to our advantage, I think, to remount those boxes. So this one, and then we would have 2 more after that to remount. So that would be my recommendation when we remount the next.
And again, the plan is remount twice
Yes.
and renew after that.
Yes, correct. Because the structural integrity of the box is like a 20-year warranty on it. So there's really no point in getting rid of that at that point if you've only gotten 6 or 7 years out of it. So definitely.
Okay.
What number did you say we're remounting?
431.
It's 9 o'clock, Mr. Schneer, when you're ready.
Okay, there are 3 bids. The first one is coming from Emergency Vehicles Plus. Here's, they are out of Holland, Michigan. An ambulance remount for a 2019 AEB ambulance. There is a price of $334,000. 334897. Mr. Young, you're gonna need to take a look at, make sure that you got everything you need, obviously. We have another bid from American Response Vehicles out of Columbia, Missouri. They have a bid in the amount of $276,600.
276,700.
276,600. And then we have a bid from a company by the name of McQueen Emergency. Their price is $298,698. 298-698.
Is that the final bid?
That's the final bid that I have, yes.
So are we surprised that we didn't get one from, in the other, is that company South Bend, you said?
Yes, that's
That's McQueen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be Crossroads and they got bought out by McQueen, I think a year ago or so.
Just say none of those sounded familiar.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
You name?
The ARV is where we get our new ambulances from. The McQueen is who's done the last two remounts, and then the first one was a new bidder.
Okay, so at this point, you're gonna review the bids, and will you have time today to review them and come back to this meeting, or you wanna have a subsequent meeting?
Probably want to review them and come back
I
in the
think
next
there'll be
meeting.
more time.
Yeah, it looks like there's quite a bit there.
Yeah, and when you go through a remount, there's a lot of things that they could say, well, we're not gonna touch that, but the other company says, yeah, we are gonna replace that, so that may be the fluctuation in pricing. And so I'd like to dig a little deeper into it to make
So we'll
sure.
take the bids under advisement. County auditor will put you on the next agenda.
Yep.
Do you have a time for him now, or do you want to, get with him later?
Later if you're busy.
Okay, that sounds good, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So our next item is at 9:15. You wanna start doing that, we'll do some miscellaneous items? Okay, so, folks, I've got a bunch of miscellaneous items here. Earlier, prior to the meeting, I asked you to sign these letters. There's going to be a honor flight for many people that are from DuBois County coming up real soon. So we signed a letter of congratulations on the people that were selected for the honor flight. I don't know if it's appropriate or not to read their names, so I'm not gonna do that, but we can at this next meeting or something if that would be appropriate. But we just wanna honor and thank the folks for their achievements and hope that their honor flight is meaningful for them. So we have that coming up, and that's something that's been going on for years to honor some of our veterans, so that's a nice thing. And what I wrote in the letters previous years is that I was able to take my grandfather out when the World War II Memorial opened in 2004, and it was a very meaningful experience for us and for him. And yeah, hopefully it's as meaningful for everyone else. So thank you for signing on that.
Jack,
Yes, sir.
just on the honor flight, I mean, this will be the 19th one out of Evansville. And since 2008, they've done over 1,400 veterans have been able to attend that. Usually about 80 to 86 each flight. And that's Saturday, October 25th.
October 25th?
Yep.
And generally, it's the veteran and then they can bring
A
more.
guardian, yep, a guardian. Each veteran has a guardian. They have a full medical team. Each veteran is taken in a wheelchair, even though they don't need it. But it's so the group stays together. Some people walk slower than the others.
Okay.
And in fact, there's one going out of Indianapolis on the same day. I mean, because they coordinate that in Washington, because all the states do it. So, a big event.
That's really great.
I've been at the airport when they came in.
Yeah.
A few times. It is.
11:30 usually, Evansville time, they do the honor parade when the veterans come back, and it's
incredible.
if you're dry-eyed after that,
Yeah.
it's pretty tough.
That's
Are any of these folks,
very emotional.
Korea, Vietnam?
Unfortunately, obviously, a lot of World War II veterans have passed on, and now almost all the Korean veterans. Now it's predominantly Vietnam, Grenada, Panama veterans, and then veterans with health problems.
Sure. Okay.
Of support or letters?
Just letters of congratulations.
And Du Bois County usually has anywhere from 6 to 12, depending on the interview process, and it's a point system for the counties that are served by southern Indiana. Then they have central Indiana and northern Indiana, 3 different flights, number of times throughout the year.
Yeah, there's probably, 10 here, I would assume, somewhere in
When-
October 25th.
October 25th, Saturday. I think they take off around 5 in the morning Evansville time.
So one other quick one, and then we'll move on to our next agenda item is, I wanted to hand you this letter. One for each of you there. So, received a letter last week, I believe. This was sent to the other units of government as well. It's from an organization called Action and Recovery. Joe Crutchfield is the chairman, and it has listed as Jackson Land is the co-chairman. And they were just wanting to introduce themselves. They want to introduce Action and Recovery. It's a 501c3. It's created by people that are in recovery from substance use disorders generally. And they want to help guide people to recovery. We want to provide an environment for anyone seeking recovery and a new way of living. Some of the ideas that they have that they hope to get to, they're right at the beginning stages now, is to have a level 2 recovery home for men and women. So we have some of this in town already, but they want to expand upon that. They want a recovery clubhouse, a sober cafe, and establishing a recovery bookstore. So those are some of the ideas that they had. I wanted to just give you the information so you had it as well. I was able to go visit a potential site for some of this with Mr. Crutchfield. So we've got a lot of ideas, and I hope they continue to build on that and have success. I'm not sure if they're going to ask the county for any funding for the opioid settlement dollars that we have. I'm not sure where they're going to be with that, but anything in this area is probably a good move forward. Anybody have any questions on that?
No, it's great.
If you want to talk to Mr. Crutchfield, he's very excited about the concept, and I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you and anytime you'd like. Next up, let's just get into the next agenda item. This is Enterprise Fleet Management. Kate Hayden.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you all so much for having me today. My name is Kate Hayden. I work with Enterprise Fleet Management. I'm actually located in the Louisville, Kentucky office. I'm an account executive with them. I've been with the company for 6.5 years now. I originally started out with our sister company, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, before moving over to this company for the fleet management. So today I'm here to kind of show you the overall idea of what we've been doing for a lot of governments nationwide and see if you would be interested in a free fleet evaluation from Enterprise to look at possibly a fleet partnership long-term. And I've got a couple things for us to look at here. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and pass out my business card. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. So one of the big things that Enterprise Fleet Management does, the main thing that we do is we look for commercial government partners that own and operate their own fleets of vehicles. And we look at utilizing all of Enterprise Rent-A-Car's resources to help them find ways to overall stretch out their CapEx budget and shorten their replacement window for their vehicles, which overall ends up decreasing their maintenance expense, decreasing their fuel expense, and increasing their overall resale. Typically, this provides a very substantial savings for counties and cities. So just to get started with the overall idea, this is some of the different Indiana governments that we're already partnered with right now that are on our fleet program. All of these schools, cities, and counties have all agreed to partner with Enterprise for a fleet management program. We help them with everything from buying their vehicles to selling their vehicles and their overall expenses. But the biggest thing that we've done for these governments is to find a way to help them stretch out their CapEx dollars so that they can actually bring in more vehicles for their organizations every year, help run those department vehicles more efficiently, and actually end up decreasing their operational expenses so much so and bring in so much resale that they have substantial savings for their organizations. Do you recognize any of those counties or cities or any of those someone that you work closely with or know at any of those organizations?
I wouldn't say that we were aware of all the counties, of course.
Absolutely. Well, this is over 30 in the state of Indiana alone. Of course, we do work with governments nationwide. Our Indiana and then the whole state of Kentucky. So in the state of Kentucky, we also have over 40 government agencies as well on our program, all of which are typically on a 5-year replacement cycle. Some of those governments have phased into the program as is doable by their overall budgets. But once they're fully implemented, they're on a 5-year replacement program. So that they can bring in, of course, more efficient vehicles, but then turn around and take advantage of Enterprise Rent-A-Car's huge, massive resale network to where we're able to resell their vehicles at a very high amount so that it makes sense for them to continue buying low with government discount, but then turn around and selling high and keeping their overall operational expenses down.
What is the method of resale? Is there like an enterprise website, or do they put it on
Sure.
the market, or how does that work?
Yeah, the way that it works is Enterprise would be your fleet management provider. So we would technically hold the title of the vehicle for you. When it came time to sell, we actually wholesale. About 85% of our vehicles go directly wholesale back to dealerships as pre-owned vehicles. So we have this massive network all over the US where we sell our personal rental cars, and we do the same thing for our fleet management clients. And then a small percentage will go to auction, but typically the small percentage that goes to auction are the vehicles that do not have a lot of value left in them. Hand selling them back to these dealerships nationwide is the way to be able to bring you in a higher resale value. Typically, we achieve 110% of market value on all of our resales. This here is just kind of a quick overview of everything that we can offer as your fleet management partner. We have a full turnkey service, so anything from buying the vehicle to financing it, to registering it, helping you with the upfit equipment on the vehicles. We can actually have it delivered, ready to go. We can also help you finance the upfit if needed in order to spread out some dollars. We also have maintenance programs to help you fix and budget in your maintenance throughout like the 5-year term of the vehicle so that you know exactly what your maintenance expense is going to be on those vehicles for the next 5 years. We also have a fueling program, of course, and then we have different driver safety programs and different geotab like GPS telematics. And then the very biggest thing that we do for our government
For telematics, that just keeps tracking of where the vehicle is on.
That's correct, yes. We partner with Geotab for that. So it does keep up with the real-time odometers on the vehicles so that you always know exactly where those are at. It alerts you whenever the next maintenance will be due. And then, of course, it does keep up with like the actual location of the vehicle, driver routes, and then it will send even a report card if you'd like on your driver's driving behaviors for safety reasons. So helping you find opportunities, harsh braking and things like that. They even have camera systems that you can install in to help you from a risk standpoint in case of accident to kind of prove what was happening before the accident occurred. But those cameras can also pick up if your driver is using a cell phone or things like that and is driving distracted. A lot of our clients have chosen to get that information, and then at the end of the month, sometimes they even do like a reward on who has the best safety record for their employees. Any questions on any of these? Okay. This here just kind of shows you our overall replacement strategy and how we determine the best replacement schedule for each vehicle. Now, I had mentioned before that all of those partners are on a 5-year replacement. That's on average. That's not for every vehicle. What we're going to do is take a look at what the resale value is on that vehicle every year in the market. We're also going to take into account how much it costs you, of course, in the CapEx budget to purchase it, but also how much equipment you put on it. So we also do pursuit vehicles. Those types of vehicles may have a little bit of a longer replacement schedule because of the large amount of upfit that you put on them. We take all of that into account. And then we also offer our different tracking systems for your fuel and maintenance so that we can keep an eye on your maintenance cost and your fuel cost. Because of course, as you hold on to a vehicle longer, you'll eventually run into those unscheduled maintenance repairs. And that's what we're trying to kind of look at and predict and get you out of that vehicle before that starts to occur. But also while that vehicle still has a lot of resale left in the market. This here is an example of what I would like to propose for you. This is a cost analysis that we have done on another government agency. They had about 88 vehicles. They were holding their vehicles for about 15 years before partnering with Enterprise. They were spending about $112 per month in maintenance, which equaled out to about 25 cents per mile. They were driving a little over 5,000 miles per year, and getting a MPG of 14 miles per gallon. So what we did was we took a look at the top line here. This top yellow line is what they were spending already in their budget. So they were purchasing $250,000 was going towards their purchases each year. They were purchasing their vehicles in cash. So they were bringing in somewhere between 5 and 6 vehicles per year on average. They were not selling their vehicles, so they were not capitalizing on any resale gains. Their maintenance expense on their 88 vehicles was $118,000. Their fuel expense was a little over $118,000 as well. All in, we looked, okay, so this is what they were spending today for their fleet budget was almost $500,000 on 88 vehicles. So what we did was put together an overall proposal for them to see if we were to get on what Enterprise would recommend as the ideal replacement schedule, what would that do for their budget? And so in the first year, they had 25 vehicles that were well beyond their replacement terms. So we recommended that they go ahead and replace 25 of those vehicles right off the bat. We would set those vehicles up on open-ended leases. So they were able to get 25 vehicles for $240,000 by utilizing a capital. We were able to sell those 25 vehicles and bring them in $118,000 worth of resale in year one. Their maintenance expense dropped immediately, their fuel expense dropped. Overall, in the first year, they came in well under budget. And then as we continue to implement in all of the vehicles, you can see here, the next year we did 32, then 25, then 15, so on and so on. Eventually, all of the vehicles get fully implemented in 2028 would be the plan. And you can see that their lease payments, they do rise up to $876,000 because they're spreading out 88 vehicles over capital lease payments. But the resale that they brought in, whenever they sold those 25 vehicles, was $700,000. Their maintenance dropped all the way down to $35,000. So that is about a 70% increase in their overall maintenance budget, or not an increase, but a decrease in their overall maintenance budget. And then their fuel dropped down to 103. So overall, we gave them a 10-year snapshot of what this program would look like if they were to keep on a cycle and keep bringing in these higher resales and capitalizing on the lower operational expense. Overall, in a 10-year period, they're projected to save almost $750,000. And so this is kind of the idea of what we've been doing for governments nationwide. This is something that I would like to propose for the county, to take a look at kind of what you're spending today on your maintenance, your fuel, what you're getting in resale, and then looking at what your capital budget is each year, how many vehicles you're acquiring, and putting together kind of a plan like this of what we could possibly do with those dollars to help you get more vehicles in, be more efficient with those vehicles, decrease your operational expenses, and see what type of long-term savings it could bring the county. I'm going to stop there because I know that was a lot of information, and then leave it open for any questions or anything like that that you have.
So projections are okay, but do you have something from a couple counties that would show what you actual for the last 7-10 years or whatever, something doing it that way? Because that's more important to have real numbers of the actual than projected.
Yeah, I could definitely send that over to you. We do have a ton of case studies out there from what we were successfully able to do for counties after the fact. This year's, of course, just upfront type of fleet evaluation that I want to do. But yes, we have a ton of proven successful relationships, long-term relationships with our government clients. So I can definitely provide you with some different case studies that we've had to show you what their overall impact was. I'd also be happy to provide you maybe with a list of officials to reach out to from some of these partners to talk a little bit about the program and the overall experience that they've had and what they've seen.
For one, it's hard for me to see because we didn't have it very, we have an aging board we'll say. We all have glasses, so we're gonna probably, if you could send us the presentation, that, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely,
And
no problem.
as far as having you look into what we have currently, what does the board think of this?
I think it would be worth looking into.
Yeah, I don't see any harm in looking into it.
Right.
So if you have do you have a proposed, like a contract, an agreement, something like that for this initial analysis, or what is the?
We do not know, it's a completely free evaluation. We just want to look at what you're spending today and the age of your vehicles, the mileage on them, and then put together a proposal for what we could do for you. But at the end of the day, even if you decide that this is not a partnership that you want to walk down the road with, that's completely fine. We do not mind, we can definitely shake hands and part ways. But at the end of the day, you would at least be able to see what your vehicles are as far as how old they are in operation, the mileage, the safety features on them, and then kind of get a really good overview of what you're spending on them today, big picture wise.
So one issue that we have when we do anything like this, if it's with this, or with cell phones, or it could be a number of things, is that usually a company will request information and then the auditor has to do a bunch of work
Okay.
digging things up and giving you what you would need. So I guess, in addition to, maybe giving us those case studies or whatever from other like-sized counties, that would be appreciated. Copy the presentation, and then maybe what you would be requesting from us, what you would need from us to do that.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to say, yes, let's move forward with it, whenever maybe you'll send us something and we'll say, that's more than we're willing to go.
Okay.
Does that sound fair to the board?
Sure,
That we'll
absolutely.
start there, that way we get a full pic, instead of just saying
Yeah.
yes, and then she asks for a bunch of things that we don't want to
Sure.
deal with.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be happy to send that over, just so you know, right up front, the one main thing that we would need is a list of all of your vehicles with VIN numbers. If you keep up with odometer readings, great, that's wonderful for us. If you don't, just the VIN numbers would be efficient.
I don't have odometers, but I do have bins.
Okay, perfect, so just the VIN numbers would get us started. And then we would simply just need to know what the spend is, for your vehicles and maintenance, like the overall spend, big picture spend of maintenance, fuel, and then, how many you're buying per year on average. If you don't have your expenses, or it's not easy for you to pull the maintenance and the fuel expense for all the vehicles, we could also just kind of go off of what you budget for each year typically, and kind of go with that. So if for some reason you don't have either or, we can use industry averages, but of course we prefer to stick to your real numbers.
I'm gonna defer, I don't know the highway, we have our own fuel tanks, so
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay,
we
sure.
keep track of that per vehicle, because you guys do it by department, correct?
well, we'll have Ms. Hayden send us a list of what you would need. We'll pass it around to see if how quick it is for us to, or how we
Sure.
can get that together for you.
Yeah.
So I think we have an appetite to look at it, but
Okay.
we'll.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, yep, so just, if you'll take care of those things, Tess, we'll probably continue, going forward.
All right.
We'll see where we are with that.
Okay,
So,
wonderful.
that
I'm
sounds
excited for the opportunity. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, exactly. Mrs. John, you can come up. Morning.
Good morning. Oh, I'm Kyle John, and my wife Jamie here. We're wanting to seek approval to use the courthouse restrooms on Thanksgiving Day on November 27th for the Turkey Trot 5K. We've used it in the past years as well. And allowing us to use the restrooms, we have up to about 500 runners usually, or even family and friends that come and watch. And And it gives us more of a donation to the Girls on the Run program and the Greater Downtown Business Association, so we don't have to rent porta potties. So we're just seeking that approval if we may use them again. And they send things.
I think we want to support what you're doing, and the only thing we'll say is that if the restroom get tore up, if whatever, then we won't do it in the future, but I don't think that that'll be a problem. So one thing I would request is if you could have somebody go in and look at them once an hour or something, just to make sure that something hasn't happened. And then right before 10 o'clock, if you could just give it another look to make sure that they're in decent shape. Does that sound fair to the board?
Fair.
Is, did anybody opposed to
No,
every
we're good.
comments? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve so Downtown Running, is that the name of the organization or is it something else?
That's our running shoe store, and then we put it on, we host the
Okay.
event.
So Downtown Running
Turkey trot.
with you folks doing, in charge of it for the turkey trot. I'll move that we approve the use of the restroom from 6 to 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning.
Second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, and good luck with your event. Let's just continue here. Veterans Oktoberfest information. Mr. Flynn,
Good morning.
good morning.
I'm here with Mr. Boone Taylor from Operation Mind, Body, Soul.
Thank you.
And this is an informational kind of briefing on what we have planned and what we are going to do for a veterans event here in Jasper. Boone?
Okay, so October 18th, we are gonna have Veterans Oktoberfest. So we're gonna have the Cultural Center where we're gonna do resources. That is from noon until 4 o'clock. We have Honor Flight coming, we have all veteran organizations, American Legions, VFWs, plus resources for mental health. Along with that, Brookwood is coming, Volunteers for America will be there. The simultaneous way while that is going on, we will be doing I'll let Dave go into the cultural center a little more because that's his department. We're going to be doing a charity run, a motorcycle Jeep run. Those two will have separate routes, but that will be kicking off with Legion. They'll have breakfast there at 8 a.m. and then registration for that will be 9:30 until 10:45. Kickstands up or leaving at 11, and then that will be ending back up at the River Center. Where we'll go into having DJ, we'll have a speaker on a little bit about veterans mental health. We're hoping to get the mayor there because he gave us a proclamation for Veterans Oktoberfest Day. So we might have him come in if he's available. And then going into DJing and then the McConnell music from 5 until 6, that is a veteran as well. He was wanting to come in and get his music out there a little bit more, and then a local band called Acacia will be playing from 6 until 9. But what we're looking to do here is kind of get our veterans out into the community a little more, get our community helping our veterans. Of course, this is sponsoring Operation Mind, Body, and Soul. Very active in our veterans' mental health. We've had 7 veterans reach out to us this year, and all 7 are still here. So we're doing some good things, and we just want to continue to do that, but it takes resources and money to do that. So
What this builds on is, if you've known in the past, we've had what they would call a veterans roundup. 2 or 3 of the last years, we've had them at the VFW. We had one at the River Center right before Susan left, and we've had them throughout the county. But those have always been during the workday, during the week where, people have jobs and everybody can't come and enjoy that. So we thought this year we would talk to the city, and since they have a lot of things, going on with the square, and tie in on a Saturday when it's not overly crowded, because we don't want to overdo it, but have it at a time when this is tied in with Music on Main that Saturday. That goes from 11 to 1, I believe. And then with the cultural center, set that up. We reached out to a lot of nonprofits, a lot of county entities, And we open up to any organization who wants to set up, that provides services to the city and the county. And, they can provide information, meet people, just so people can, seek that kind of stuff out since, people are gonna be down around the square that day anyway. And, the health center will be there, the Humane Society will be there. We're talking to a number of different things like, Freedom Reigns, Reach Across America, Marine Corps Toys for Tots, the food bank, a lot of things that provide services to us already that, the community can get behind, get more information and find out how they can become involved with those organizations or how they can join those organizations, help those organizations, just good informational. We have our first responders. We've talked to the Sheriff's Department, the Ambulance Service, the City Police, the Fire Department, our local conservation officers and the state police. We'll have a static display in front of the cultural center with their vehicles because we know that families and kids and stuff like to take pictures. And again, to meet their first responders because it's such an integral part of our community. And then how it all ties in with veterans because veterans, come in all shapes and sizes and ages and walks of life. And, a lot of people, you may not know they're a veteran unless, they say something. So, it's just another way because I've been up here a number of times now in the past couple of years, more involved with veterans things within the community. And, I think it's definitely a win-win for all of us. And we wanted to, let the county commissioners know what's going on. We will be talking again with the city next week at their meeting. And we've reached out to, I think, all the different organizations. But, again, I give you this. So if there's any other entity within the county that wants to be involved with this, is obviously more than welcome.
And we're looking to grow this to an annual thing and possibly even make it bigger than what it is this year, but you gotta start somewhere.
Sure.
And this is a start.
And this is a big time. I know the Marine Corps League has a scholarship fundraiser golf tournament this coming weekend. We have the Oktoberfest, and we moved to Toys for Tots and Veterans Day ceremony. I think that's going to be at St. Anthony this year. And then that leads into next year for Memorial Day and what we want to do soon in September using our POWMIA money and different things that we're planning with the county. I would invite the commissioners or anybody from the county to attend the Veteran Council meeting, Du Bois County Veteran Council. That's the next meeting will be Monday, October 20th at 7 o'clock at the American Legion in Holland. That's a rotating meeting around the county between the 13 veterans organizations. We have sitting officers. I serve as the adjutant, so I do a lot of the administrative stuff. But again, the outreach and stuff for veterans in Du Bois County is a growing entity, and this is just another way for us to push that forward.
Is that meeting monthly, you said?
No, it's quarterly. October 20th is the next one, then the next one will be in January. I know at that meeting, we are looking at making that a bi-monthly meeting and having 6 meetings a year by 4. Just because of the amount of stuff we're doing, for the planning purposes and getting all the organizations and getting the word out in town. The radio stations, the TV stations, our websites, our Scuttlebutt newscasts that we do for veterans, all that stuff I think is getting a lot of good word out. This week we're meeting with the mayor's ecumenical or worship council, local, to start getting churches. So, because again, a lot of veterans may not be in organizations like a spouse or a widow or kids, but it is critical for people to get the services or even know about the services that are available to veterans and their families.
So this is just kind of informational, just to let you know what we're planning on doing, what we're doing in the community. I would like to sit down with you guys sometime and talk about the opioid settlement and see if that's something that can help fund some of the mental health stuff that we're doing.
Is that the opioid settlement? Yeah, so go to the Secretary of State's website and they have a list of things of money that can be used for. You may have already done this. There's something called the Exhibit E. And just before we speak with any of us on that, just make sure that whatever you're going to ask for fits within one of those categories, and I'm sure it would.
Okay.
But that'd be one thing I'd recommend.
All right, well, thank you.
Are there any questions or concerns?
Nope, I will say that tomorrow we're having our first steering committee meeting for the comprehensive plan. Mr. Flynn has agreed to be a part of that. we've had, and I was gonna bring this up later, but I think I invited about 15 or 16 people from the community, and I'm excited to say that all of them have agreed to attend to help us with our comprehensive plan, and I'm grateful that you'll be there.
Thank you for asking me. And again, we want to do, again, we don't want to be seen, veterans in general, don't want to be seen as just people in need. There's a lot that we can give back to the community. So we appreciate tying us in with anything.
And the two of you seem like good examples of veterans doing that, giving back to the community, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing
So we're better. Okay, so whenever we get there, we'll. So is somebody here to present on this?
No, she just called in case there's questions.
So who's that? A community member? Okay, good. Okay, so it's 9:40. We have about 5 minutes until we'll talk about the solar park battery safety situation. Is Region 15 ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, Jenny Valdez, Cindy the 15. I have run through and compared numbers to funding available. You just want me to run down what I would recommend awarding.
Yes, please.
I would recommend awarding the electrical contract to the 2627 Beard Drive home, the HVAC work to the 4458 Badenstrasse home, the HVAC work to the 1907 Chestnut home, and the HVAC work to the Terrace Avenue home as well.
Jenny, what was the street for that first HVAC?
The first HVAC work was Badenstrasse.
We have Beer, Badenstrasse, Chestnut, and Terrace.
Terrace.
So there's 4 of them there.
Yes, sir.
A couple of them were obviously above the amount that we can give to any individual homeowner.
Correct. The
And-
other HVAC work was about $500 over
The
what?
Cherry Street one? Which one?
Cottonwood Lane.
Cottonwood Lane, yes. The Cottonwood Lane one is about $500 over what the homeowner has remaining in funds. And same for the Cherry Street home. They already have a roof and that would put them.
So just, unfortunately, it's
Yes.
gonna be just a little out of the range, and there has to be a
Yes.
range, or
Yes,
we wouldn't know what we were up against. So it looks like there's 4 bids that are within the guidelines of what we can do.
correct.
And it looks like it's about $20,000 worth of work, so it's not a
Not a huge-
humongous amount, but it is going to be a big amount for those individuals, so that's a positive.
That leaves us with 10 homes in progress, counting this work that could be done. 4 homes, take that back. Yes, 4 homes that received no bids throughout the entirety of the process. And the others, I will get the change orders executed today and hopefully not too far into tomorrow so that Mr. Curtis can begin his final inspections.
Okay, so when will Mr. Curtis, so he'll have to wait at least until, he can't inspect these till the work's done? The ones that we're gonna wait for
There's
today.
10 that are in progress, yeah.
So how many could he start on immediately?
1, 2,
There's
3, 4, 5,
19 or so?
22, 21.
Okay, so you're able to give
I
Mr.
can.
Curtis to go ahead on all of those today? And he'll have at least a month and a half to finish those? And what if he can't get to all of them?
We have to have a final inspection. So. He'll get to them. He'll get to them.
So we'll find a
We'll find a
way
way.
to try to get them done. If
Yeah,
not,
the only concern I have, and this is something that we can discuss afterward, there are 3 homes that we have bid the radon mitigation on, and that is something that we do have to address with those homes. They did not receive any bids. I will reach out for some guidance to Oprah and then share that guidance with you when I hear this afternoon of what we need to do.
So first thing,
We need
I
to-
believe we have to approve the acceptance of the 4 bids that we have, so I'll make a motion that we approve the 4 that have fallen within the acceptable range.
Second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. So again, we're grateful that we've gotten the bids that we did, so some people will be getting some of that work done. Overall, the project didn't go as we expected. I wish we would have had all of these bids done initially, but it happened the way it did. A lot of people got a lot of work done. Overall, it's a net positive for the
And
county.
I think moving forward, some communities are reevaluating what services of the 5 that they might offer to homeowners. If they see Du Bois County is struggling, to do electrical, if it's something moving forward, and another community in Du Bois County might not choose to include electrical work as part of the program component, so.
And it may simplify it for you and for the
For the homeowners, for the
Public.
inspector, for everybody.
for everyone that this is what we're gonna do for this year.
Yes, yeah, and, focus on roofs, HVACs, water heaters, things, that we have received consistent bids for.
Right. There's probably nothing more important than having a
Solid
solid roof on that house, so
Absolutely, sir.
that'd be something that we could look at. So we've done that, so what is the next step between us?
Nothing, all right, I'm gonna reach out to Okra about the radon, and what all we need to do there, and then I will be in touch.
And if there's any other things that maybe you and I and the Curtis would need to work on, we can do maybe a group call or something, and hopefully all that'll work out. So anything else today?
That'll be it, and I'll be in touch with Mr. Curtis as soon as I leave here.
Thank you, sounds great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll have contracts to you in a second.
You might need to use the restroom. When we come back, we will start with Mr. Bartlett on the solar park battery issue.
Now?
This morning,
On the bottom.
we have 101 units. But cells, this is a huge battery. And then the EV room, you're gonna take electricity off the grid. That's so. Yeah, we're gonna pull that electricity off the coal power plants, these batteries and stuff like that. We just put it on that. I have no problem with solar panels. I don't want to. But this here is a whole different ballgame. But the landowner needs to pay tax. I got two battery always, I pay property tax on that area, and property very obvious. Now, is that gonna happen later? But it's not farmland, it's industrial land. I've been at this for 5 years.
That says you do your research, so they said it'd be a good presentation to see. So I know the fire workers about it, but that's what they're.
Well, they don't put the hard cell, in school. There's a 3-inch water line, probably, yeah. And then you have to have a basin, because that's toxic. You know, top tier Kentucky over there. Yeah, there's a big basement. Well, my farm would be a total loss. It's good. Yeah. Battery stock.
All right, next up, we have someone on the agenda for solar park battery safety, Randy.
Hi, I'm Rita Bardo. I will be doing the presentation this morning. If there are any questions that people along with me, they will be answering them, okay?
Sure.
Okay, as property owners, business owners, and taxpayers of Du Bois County, we ask that you do not approve and help us to stop the AES battery energy storage system and solar project. While solar energy is often promoted as clean and renewable, battery energy storage systems associated with solar farms present significant environmental, economic, most importantly, safety drawbacks that warrant concern. First and important, safety. These battery systems are prone to thermal runaway, a condition where overheating causes chemical fires that are extremely difficult to extinguish. Contributing factors to thermal runaway include but are not limited to mechanical damage, poor air conditioning, electrical issues like overcharging, and other operation failures. As stated in the State of Indiana Utility Scale Battery Energy Storage Study, Section 532, when batteries undergo thermal runaway are otherwise damaged, abused, and are misused, they can release flammable and toxic gases. The release of gases is called off-gassing, and it can pose several safety hazards, including the risk of fire, toxic exposure to first responders or facility personnel, and the potential for explosion if flammable gases accumulate and ignite. Several recent documented incidents in Arizona, California, New York, July 2023, where one overwhelmed the fire departments who lacked proper training and equipment to respond to lithium-ion battery fires, and the world's largest in Moss Landing, California, January 2025, where residents reported health concerns and resulted in soil contamination. Are the county and local communities prepared to take on the risks associated with fire at the battery storage facility? Are there steps in place to ensure safe evacuation of our residences, Southridge Schools, Huntingburg School, and Holland School, as all are within the 2-mile evacuation radius of battery storage and solar fields?
Stop you there, and this will be for whoever wants to answer. I did want to let you know, somebody is on the phone from, you want to introduce yourself? Are you muted? Texas?
Hello?
So anyway, I think somebody online is from, are they from AES? Is that where they said they were from?
Hello?
Michelle Carl.
Can you hear us?
No, they have to show up.
I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to let those in attendance know that you were online and you were listening and that you were taking part of the conversation remotely. And so did someone reach out to you, landowners in the area, and say we were going to put battery, or we want to put battery storage?
Our school administrators brought it up to me.
And they're going to put it in the area across, so I guess to the west of the airport?
Yeah.
In that area? Okay. Just so people understand, because there are.
Old Holland Road, where it comes off of the Southern Vintage.
Correct. So this is different than the Duff Solar Project, which is because, just for the audience's information, the Duff Solar Project folks have been in contact with me as a county representative, and they've asked if there was a fee for them to get a permit to do this, if there was zoning or special rules, or if there was a subdivision ordinance that dealt with this. And I did do research. I read the state code. I've looked through everything too, because the person from that project was pretty persistent, we'll say. At one point I told him, I'll get to it when I get to it, right? But just kind of chill out a little bit. But as I read the state code, the issue of battery storage systems, I was looking for an email that I had before.
Okay.
And it's, according to what I read from the state code, Du Bois County has no authority to impose fees, require permits for the system, or regulate the operation thereof. The only area we can work on would be within our subdivision ordinance. We can exercise our authority related to setbacks, road use, and possibly noise limitations, because solar, you think of it as just being panels sitting there, but those things will hum or they'll make noise, and that can be a nuisance to the area. So this, hey, what do we need from you? They wanted to be ahead of the game, said they wouldn't put this thing here for years. And I guess, and again, this isn't the lady on the phone, this is that other company. They didn't do their own research to determine that we don't have the authority to impose fees on them, even if we wanted to, but we can make rules related to setbacks of those projects. So I just wanted to do a little catch up there. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. No. Okay, so the Dove Solar project is greater than 2 miles from Honeyburg. While this project will impact, the new one I'm talking about will impact Honeyburg and Homer. Do you believe a battery storage facility makes sense near residences and in such close proximity to schools? What are the evidence-based health effects and potential soil and water contamination? How does the county plan to keep the community safe and farmers' ground protected? Are the emergency services of the county prepared to respond and safely contain a chemical fire, noting the extreme difficulties of extinguishing a chemical fire? Is the manpower, equipment, and materials ready to fight a fire at a battery storage facility? 59 reported on July 9, 2025, Braun wants Indiana to become a nuclear energy leader. Braun announced his quest to, quote, unleash Indiana's energy production and deploy nuclear power by hosting a ceremonial signing of 6 bills. These bills see Braun embracing nuclear energy, which the governor called a clean, carbon-free, always-on workhorse for energy generation. Under Senate Enrolled Act 423, the state of Indiana is in the process of establishing a small modular nuclear reactor pilot program. The program aims to develop 1 or more SMRs in Indiana to generate nuclear power for Hoosier retail customers. Solar farms produce less energy per acre than fossil fuel, soy diesel, the result of an existing product of the county, or nuclear plants, meaning more land is needed for equivalent output. We believe the cost to the county and its taxpayers does not outweigh the benefits. Battery storage remains very expensive. The technology experiences energy losses during the charge and discharge process, meaning not all of the solar power collected from these rolling hills and then stored is ultimately usable. These inefficiencies make it harder for solar farms to compete economically with more stable energy sources. The cleanup solar farms and battery storage systems are not renewable. They degrade over time and must be replaced, leaving behind toxic materials and recycling challenges. Without strict oversight, this creates the risk of an abandoned energy waste site in the corridor from Holland to Honeyburg in the backyard of the Southridge school system, similar to an outdated industrial facility, but over acres and acres. We believe some of the most potentially profitable land and area next to the school system will be extremely diminished as a result of this project. In a hilly topography, we do not understand how this can be profitable for the county. The project is not profitable for AES Indiana. While Lightsource BP created a road use agreement with the county, does AES have the same agreement with the county? Has a decommissioning agreement put into place for this facility? If AES Indiana goes bankrupt or so, will the landowners and or the county be paying for the decommissioning of the facility? Will the property tax rates increase for the land with solar panels as it will now be industrial? Will the property tax rates for the landowners within a 2-mile radius decrease as they will now be in the evacuation zone? Increased risk zone should anything happen. On August 18, 2025, AES Indiana sent a letter to some neighboring property owners, not all. They quoted, and I quote, AES Indiana is committed to maintaining open lines of communication. We plan to host a local open house later this year where you can meet the project team, learn about what to expect during construction, and share feedback. Some neighbors of the project are still not aware of the extent of the project. Again, all neighboring property owners were not sent this communication. While we understand we have asked you a number of questions today, and it will take time to answer them all, we would like them answered. Today, we would like to hear your stance, commitments, actions, as well any updates on the project. We do not want the legacy of the county to become a solar wasteland. Please block the construction of this battery storage and solar project. Thank you for your time and understanding.
Our farm was gonna be at ground zero if the fire would come out. And, we understand it'd probably be wasteland, you know, the chemicals get over the property. We're gonna be within a couple hundred feet of the batteries or so. And, the one thing about this project, they put the batteries so they won't get on the solar panels. You know, we're gonna be the buffer zone between the solar panels. The other thing is BP, this all started 5 years ago, and I started following British Petroleum on their, their stock. You know, they were like then the number 3rd supplier of solar energy in the United States, or not the United States, in the world. And they're selling all their solar and wind because it's not profitable. So then, I get to write, it used to be Indianapolis Power and Light, what is it, AES or whatever, all of a sudden took it over. You know, they're not gonna be profitable either. So, anyway, I think if it would be profitable for one thing, I'm a poor speaker, I'm sorry. If it's gonna be profitable, you have, like Rockport, for instance, have 4,000 acres at their coal power plant. If solar's profitable, they'd be putting solar panels in at 4,000 acres they have. I mean, that's one example. I can go on and on, but I want, I'll hope we present something for you to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Going up.
If the lady on the phone is listening and answering questions, I would like to ask her if she would send her kids to school if they were 7,000 feet from the battery park.
And for the record, who are you?
Brent Ring.
Brent Ring, thank you, sir. If the person on the phone wants to answer, you're welcome to.
Hey, this is Michelle Carlton, and just wanted to clarify, I am with EDP Renewables.
Okay.
So I can speak to the battery project that's happening with AES. But if there aren't any specific questions to Duff Solar, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay. So the person on the phone is with the Duff project, not with the one by the airport.
Okay. Do they have a solar storage facility there?
They do not have one currently that I'm aware of, and I'm pretty positive on that, but they have a company.
Most of the solar place, I think it's maybe only a third, maybe it's solar battery storage.
Right, so there's a company called ENGIE, E-N-G-I-E, and they are the ones that have been in contact with DuBois County, talking about the potentiality of putting it in the Duff project. I've had no conversations on the project that you're talking about that I can recall.
Okay.
That they've never reached out to the county. So I guess
I have one other. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask a couple of questions for commissioners. Alex Hull, St. Henry resident. I was wondering if we could ask the project, AES project, if would be willing to incentivize training for our fire departments. Because one thing I've researched in this is our fire departments are inadequately trained on these type of fires. And then the other question I would have is the prevailing wind, if there would be a fire, go straight toward Huntingburg. So That's two questions I think the commissioners could ask the AES representative, because that is very critical to the project. Thank you.
I have one other note. When they just want to come on my land earlier and leave like this is, and they're supposed to got clearance through the county commissioners that they come on my land to drill a hole, test hole, because they're gonna put a high hole. You know anything about that?
No. No, nobody's asked me about coming on anyone's private property, and what about for the county highway engineer?
If they're within the right of way, within the county's right of way, they have to have a board or any utility permit filled out prior. My understanding was they were out there doing the preliminary applications of soil borings to use that as information for the final design. But if they're outside of county right of way, then they have to have property owner permission.
Okay, it was outside the property. Outside my property. And that gentleman told me that he had a permit. I asked him, he sent me an email and said he couldn't send me a permit at this time.
That they will not send you one?
They could not send a permit at this time. So, if I'm just saying this, I think that's what kind of people we're dealing with. That they will make up stuff to get what they want.
So if they're coming on private property, they would be trespassing as far as anything I understand. I can't talk to to speak to the law, but that seems like that would be the case unless they're within the, right of way. And they had consent otherwise.
Okay.
But I'll give you a
I'm
couple.
just stating that instead of going to the other side of the front road now, because that's, they have all that land already leased, so I don't know why they wanted to come on my property. At any rate, I'm just trying to give you the text of what kind of people we're working with.
Okay, no, I appreciate you giving us the presentation and making us aware of the concerns that people have. I would say that the position that we've taken as a board, and I'll let the other board members say their piece, is that the agreements that are made between landowners are just that. They're made between a private citizen and a private company. So most of those, we say, if you ask my personal opinion, I'd much prefer that there was corn growing, there was soybeans growing on all of that property. I think it looks better. I think it's better for the health of the land long term, but it's not my property. And as a elected official, I think one of our duties is to support people's freedom to do what they want with their own property as often as possible. So I want to stay out of that as much as possible. I think that's been the position of the board. So in the Duff project, if I had unlimited power, I'd say, no, we're going to keep it in corn because I like it better. But that's not how it works. So people make private agreements. So you talk about it being a wasteland in 20 years. That could happen. And that's a private landowner made that decision to take that risk on their property because they think the reward of whatever those payments are is worth it to them. And
I understand that. The battery thing's a different story.
the battery, anything that could negatively impact surrounding landowners is a different issue.
I told my neighboring landowners, I don't want them, and I like it when BP owned it because it was a private company. You can say no, but you can't say no to a utility company.
So as far as this battery thing, again, I've had no information with this part of it. The part in Duff, the people that have reached out to me, they act like this is something that may happen in 3 years from now. And they were wanting multiple things from us as a county. I researched it, and the county doesn't have any power to, one, permit it or stop it. We have the authority to say, you can't keep it. We can make ordinances along the lines of, if it goes above a certain decibel, the noise wise, we can put an ordinance against that it can't be that loud within so close to a home. We could say it has to be so many hundreds of feet away from a neighboring house. So there's some things that we could do in that area, but that's about the extent of my understanding of what our rules would be. Commissioner Hostetter?
I don't really have anything to add. I haven't reached out to me either. I knew nothing about this project until you brought it up. I'm not sure where it started.
No one's reached out to me either. I mean, this is all.
On the bad and safety, where could we go?
So I'll say that when Council President Kleesner and I met with, I'm sorry, I don't remember, I think it was with the AE or the EDP project person that's working on the battery for there. That was one of the issues that he brought up. And of course, they have documents and paperwork and everything to show how this is safe and that's not a concern. But of course, that's in their best interest to say that. But they make it sound like those other things that have happened, those were a fluke, and there's hundreds of these around the country and they never have problems with them, right? That's how they would sell it, which is what I would expect from them if that's what they want to sell it. So for me to give you information to say, this is safe, don't worry about it, you're overreacting, I can't say that because I don't know. Or to say that it's very dangerous, I don't know that either. But I do know that it is something that we're looking into with the other project. And on this one, again, I think they would have to get regulatory approval from the state to put one at all. And then once they got that, then the county would be able to say, you have to have setbacks of a certain amount of time to protect the adjoining people. So that's about the extent of what I know about it as of today. But I will look over everything that you sent. There's quite a bit here. I probably can't get to it today, but you're welcome to keep in touch with us. Get on the agenda anytime that more information comes up, and we'll keep this alive because we want to protect, especially like you said, the schools and the other assets that are around. This is a different animal than the one in Dublin.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have a comment on this before we close this part of the meeting?
Is there anyone waiting on the phone? Would she have anything?
And Michelle, did you want to say anything for the EDP project? She's probably getting it off of there. It's a little bit of a delay. Okay, sounds like maybe Michelle doesn't have any further comments for the EDP project. Like I said, they are two separate companies, two separate projects. We'll just let that one be. Alder, if you want to end the call, you're welcome to. I think we're finished there. Does the board, is there any action that the board wants to take at this point on this, or?
Not at this point in time, I mean, we're not educated enough to know. I mean, this is the first, or do you want to?
It's a little concerning that something like this is going on.
And really, it's a trust issue. We'd have to make up our own decisions. Is this safe or is it not safe? The companies putting it in are going to tell us that it's a very safe thing. They're going to have proof to back that up.
Right.
But even with things that are very safe, when it does go wrong, it can be catastrophic for a neighborhood, and there have been examples of that happening.
And she said if anybody needed more than EDP money, she'd be glad to spend that time.
Okay, let's just continue on. Mr. Litherland's here.
Morning.
Good morning.
Brock Litherland. I own a clothing store here on the square. So Thursday, October 30th, we're having our trunk or treat trail, and that is going to be from 5 to 7. And we are requesting to have the bathrooms unlocked from 4:30 to 7:30. So I know our trunk or treat trail is from 5 to 7, so it gives a little bit of a window there. But we're requesting that be from 4:30 to 7:30. Last week I sent over this authorization policy guide.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I said, you know, the copy, I have one. But other than that, that's all I have.
Just because it's not something I'm aware of, what is the nature of the trunk or treat? How would that look for the public?
So, well, you know, one thing that has been really good about the Merchants Association, like the heart of Jasper, especially since the revitalization, is driving traffic down to the square. Obviously, we're pretty proud of our square, right? So they've done a great job of doing that. And last year, I believe, was the first year we did the trunk or treat trail, and just brings a lot of kids, obviously, and their parents down for Halloween to trick or treat, get candy, other Halloween treats and things of that nature. But I know some of the other merchants also hand out, I think, for example, one merchant last year handed out boot bucks, right? So come back at another time and get a percentage off of clothing from the store, things of that nature. So it's obviously for the kids, but we can hand out things to parents to come back and shop stores. It's a win-win. So.
Okay, anybody have any questions? I think it sounds like a fine event. We will let the county custodian know what's going on, and I'll move that we approve the request.
Second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Thank you,
So
sir.
another copy of this?
No, we're good.
Good. Thank you. Have a great week. Yep.
All right. Is there, I think county administrator is the next issue on here. Sorry, we kept you waiting a little bit. It's a little after the time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
This is just a copy of the email that I sent to you yesterday, along with some answers that Commissioner Blessinger responded with last night. So I didn't know if you had a chance to read that email that I sent yesterday. I'm Amy Kidman-Brock, County Clerk. I saw on the agenda for today's meeting, just in the discussion items that you were to discuss county administrator. So that was new to me within the last month or so, that was something that was being talked about. So I just did a little research on Friday, as I had a staff member ask me about the funding for it, which I understand falls in the privy of the council, but I think it's kind of all grouped together. So since you guys were gonna talk about it, I thought I'd come here first. I had a staff member ask me about the funding for it, so that prompted me to do a little research of what it is, where are we at in the process, and I felt like the feedback that I got was you could potentially approve the position today, so that's why I'm here. I think the position sounds like a phenomenal opportunity for somebody, and it could help streamline a lot of work at county government. It could open up lines of communication that maybe don't happen today. Whether I feel like it should be happening today or not, it's not, and it could be an opportunity for efficiency to happen. However, I disagree with what I think has been discussed as far as the funding for it, and I also feel like we should, we've probably talked about it a lot over the last few years as far as an opportunity of a position to get created. But I feel like since we've talked about it for a number of years, I think we should add the position during the budget process of a normal calendar year. I feel like that would be the feedback that I would get as a department head. If I wanted to add a position, we should do that in the request of the budget hearings, or through that timely part of the process. So I sent 5 pages of notes to you in that email, and I just gave it to you again, and Chad gave me a lot of answers, and some of those were common sense things that I think I was just trying to be thought-provoking as you think about this position. You know, the efficiency of it and the strategic needs. I think I had a great conversation with several council members, and council president gave me great feedback on what the hope is that this position might do for our county. I think we dream big and we settle in, and then we can tweak as we go, right? That's probably the common sense thoughts, but I don't like the funding of it. I feel like the funding for this position far outweighs appreciation to our current county employees. Again, I understand the funding for it falls on the council, but I think that it's kind of a combined conversation because this person would work for both the commissioners and the council. It's nearly $5 an hour more than what I, as a department head elected official, get paid. And I feel like it should be more in line with those full-time elected admin positions currently. There are, and Commissioner Blessinger gave me several examples of other non-elected department head positions that are in the executive classification. And this one falls about in the middle of those positions in referencing the 911 director, the HR director, highway superintendent, EMA director, health admin, and community corrections departments. Those are all non-elected executive level positions. They are pretty much all paid higher than elected officials that I think would be equivalent on the job classification duties to those types of roles. Each of those kind of has some specialties to them, but so do each department head. Treasurer has to be pretty responsible for all the money that they hold. The clerk has responsibilities, and I think that we're all paid on a similar, the elected officials are paid on a similar scale. I just think that it's not in line with what the other county employees are paid. So I think while we have to have attractive packages to get good talent, I think that there's a part of me that thinks it's a little bit of a slap in the face to me and to other county employees that are kind of been treated the way they have been for I don't think it's bad, but I also don't want us to treat somebody else that we're trying to recruit, a good talented person. I don't want us to forget that we have good talented staff that we pay decent wages to, but maybe not in line with how this is getting paid. So I have lots of thoughts, and I put it all in writing and shared with you, and I feel very respectful that we can have some dialogue about it, but I would be encouraged to hear your thoughts on what this position is, or where you think that we're at in the process of approving getting this position, or if you think that we could respectfully wait until the next budget process and add this in to the next year when we have that opportunity, or what your thoughts might be. Anyone I have questions for me, or do you have feedback that you'd like to share?
I think I tried to answer as much as I could. I was happy to do it. I wasn't happy to do it on a Sunday afternoon. I was like,
Well, you didn't have to respond.
no, I know. No, I was sitting there. I'm like, I gotta just go ahead and do this. I was up here working anyway. But no, I think I tried to answer as many of those as I could. And I don't know if the other two have had a chance to review any of that.
And I read through your answers this morning, and I thought you were pretty spot on with most of it.
So a couple things. One, this is during the regular budget process. The budget hasn't been tied up. It's tied up.
Not necessarily.
If I asked for a new
It was
position
put
today,
on the Form 1 and presented during the reviews like it would have been, anybody else would have been. It was added at the very end.
Okay.
And I've expressed this to these guys as well.
And then as far as being paid more than other elected officials, those seem like those were a couple of your concerns. It's the same way the city of Jasper, it's the same way a lot of places where non-elected people, a lot of people make more than the mayor, over there. And it's just, that's what different positions, they try to make, like you said, make them attractive to people to take the jobs. And I think what Mr. Gleason said too, that if there's other people that are elected officials that could do this job, they would be welcome to apply for it as well. And anyway, that's kind of beside the point. What I want to do though is I was going to bring this up later whenever we talked about it as a discussion point. I'll just read this little thing that I put together prior to getting your email yesterday. So here are my reasons for it when we were going to discuss it. So I put down that significant projects, initiatives, and assets that the county is under the county controller, especially under the commissioner's control. So I think before I go on, one of the concerns was, is this position going to be created and then try to get in the business of elected officials, right? Come try to do the auditor's job or your job or any of the jobs, and that wouldn't be the case. There are a number of offices underneath the purview of the Board of Commissioners, and that would be the primary focus on this and the focus of the commissioners. So this would be to assist with communication between the other elected officials in here and then just the offices that are generally under the Board of Commissioners. So what I was saying here is that all of these projects, initiatives, assets deserve more detailed and daily attention than what is available currently. Just basically the day-to-day business of what we do. Some examples. Some examples of these issues, it's kind of like the solar thing that we just talked about, right? That would be good if we had somebody that was here every day to really keep that front of mind. The investing of the opioid settlement dollars, management of the county ambulance services, the $1 million grant that DuBois County and Jasper earned for the Hoosier Enduring Legacy Program. These are just things that we just dealt with just today. That helped both the TRICAP and low to moderate income citizens with home repairs, the recently completed jail and community corrections construction project, the comprehensive plan and the execution of it once it's created. I believe Commissioner Hostetter can attest to this too, with the sewer project. I think we would be a lot further along in that project if we had somebody that was here 8 hours a day that could be dedicated to things like that. So that is a potential $17 million project that we have people working on a part-time basis, really, when you attach all these other issues. And that thing has gone on for many years and will provide much needed health and economic benefits to the county. I hope that DuBois County can continue to change things for the better, and the county administrator will help administer and develop ongoing improvements. people in DuBois County, I think, are pragmatic people. We understand the financial costs of things, the financial cost of this position, and the projects that we pursue. And we also, I think, the one thing that pushes me forward is what is the cost of not taking action? It makes practical sense to bring on a quality leader to help the commissioners and council with the complex issues and challenges we face. The success of the county is what unites our board and the council as well. And you know, I know it's for the other elected officials as well. And we live in one of the best places in the world. And I think that this will help ensure that we're always making progress and serving our communities and taking care of those issues at a high level, and continues to confirm our pledge that DuBois County's best days are still to come. So I know that that's a lot of general talk, but I stand, I think it's something that's just needed. And as one of the things that you asked about in your letter was, you know, spending on the position and what is the need. And so one of the things that I mentioned back was at the time when we needed an HR, or the HR person was brought up, or when the county interpreter was brought up, my first is, we're getting fined without it. Auditor's office are just fine, right? Why put the extra expense on the taxpayer? Interpreter, the service through the language line, why pay extra money for it? Positions came in and they've been invaluable to improving and moving forward. I mean, we have populations that we need to serve with the interpreter, and HR has done a lot for this board. For me, I feel like they've done a lot to move the county forward. So it's another one of those situations where I think this position will come and it will move the county forward. Commissioner Hostetter, anything else?
I agree. I think this position's been needed for quite some time. We're all full-time employees elsewhere. There's a lot of work to do that I think would be great to have somebody that's here full-time. Ultimately, they still answer to us. We still drive the direction. But to have somebody here full-time, I think would be a tremendous benefit.
Great, I think it would be a great benefit.
I feel like the feedback that I've gotten from other county offices, I emailed Friday afternoon, department head or elected officials within the courthouse building, not outside. And I just thought I'd gather a little feedback and feel like it's lit a fire. Got a lot of phone calls this weekend because I got on the agenda to come and talk about this. And the impression is that we're just streamlining it behind the scenes. We've had discussions that this has been something that we've talked about for 5 years or so between commissioners and council members over the years. But the feedback that I got was we're not talking about it in public meetings, and it's kind of behind the scenes, and we're just pushing it down the line as quickly as we can. And I may or may not really fully agree with that, but that's kind of the perceived notion from county employees. And it's just not been good for morale, in my opinion. And I don't want to lose a staff member that would put in for this position because it's a lucrative pay raise for them. And then I can't be competitive in hiring a replacement for my staff member. Like, that's kind of the way, you know, when I first started thinking about it, I thought it was just another layer of government that do we really need it? Who's not doing their jobs, and how do we hold people accountable to be more efficient as we are today? And I understand and see the value of the position. I do. I think it is needed and it could be used wisely. But I also looked at the job description and I feel like it's a dream wish list of things that will not all get accomplished in a day-to-day setting. So it would evolve just like everything does, and hone in on what works well and how we improve it. But I think that the funding for it is one hiccup in my mind. I wonder if there are other resources within the county that we could put some of these tasks to use, if we can have better communication flow with department heads and just we can delegate some things out and just make government work better as is. But, you know, a lot of people were talking about the funding, because that was my concern initially in some of my conversations. It was, you know, I learned that a 1% pay raise for employees, just that are paid out of the general fund, not affecting all employees, because I guess there's some grant funded employees and just some other avenues, but it amounts to way less than what the salary of this position would be, or thereabouts about the pay part of this salary. So it's tough to swallow from our perspective. And I feel like there's several people in the room that have gave me feedback since I sent my email on Friday and tried to do a little research. I don't know if they want to add to or if you want to take their comments, but I feel like it's very painful from our perspective as far as morale and the way things are viewed. So I just wanted to give some feedback, and I respectfully respect, the opinions that you have and the time to give you my thoughts. Anybody else want to say something?
Well, I think I'd like to make a comment. I know we talk about this position. We talk about this position being so needed, but it has been covered by people doing the jobs already. And it's a slap in the face to us who are doing some of these to give this person so much more money than what we're getting currently doing the job, even though I can't spend hours on it. Maybe that's why I am here more than 35 hours a week. But, and I made that known to you guys, if somebody's not doing it, hold them accountable and make them step up to the plate to do the job. But I also feel like when we hired Marky as an HR director, we took 6 months to try to get that guy in place. We didn't do this in one night and one weekend. It was on the agenda for months. And I'm looking at Craig because he was on the committee with me.
So I guess that argument was brought up by Ms. Kittenbrock, and you brought that up, and somebody else brought that up before. I think one of the council members last time. And they said, well, who's not doing their job, and who can we hold accountable for this? And I guess I would ask, whose job is it to research solar, to research setbacks, to research the safety and efficacy of these kind of projects? Whose job is it to apply for grants like that HELP grant, or whose job is it to be on the floor or the ground every day up at the community correctional project or the jail project, or to do the sewer project? I mean, nobody's doing those jobs now. And if it's up to the Board of Commissioners, not as many of those kind of things get done because, as he's mentioned, we have limited time to do these things. In an ideal world, you could, in my opinion, would be, and it goes nowhere because whatever, it just doesn't. I think it'd be more efficient if we had a single county executive and he had a staff person, and I think a lot more could get done. That's my wishful thinking. But the way the world really actually is that there's 3 part-time commissioners that have full-time jobs elsewhere. And so a lot of the stuff just doesn't get done unless we're doing it nights, weekends, or taking off of our other job. And I try to make a good effort to do that every day of the week. But still, what I'm saying is these things don't get done by anyone else.
Well, I think that's why I mentioned in our meetings, make one of you or all of you full-time. Then you're here every day.
And then we're looking at twice the cost.
Not that much more.
It costs us.
If you double each one of your salaries, you equal what we make.
They'd be more than what we make if you double their salaries.
Right.
And to the salaries of the employees, and I think this is one of the things that's important that I mentioned in my response to you yesterday, is I agree with you. And I try to, my comment to the whatever, I guess your document was that historically, I try to stay out of what the county council does and what they do for their raises, what amount of money they try to do. This year, I went to bat for a few employees, but going forward, I don't think that it's, I think we need to make additional efforts to make our pay worthwhile for people. That the 2% isn't cutting it, for example. So I stayed quiet this year. It's the council's job. They did what they did. But if we can't keep people up with the cost of living and with, just giving them a fair raise every year to keep up with that, I think that we need to do better going forward. So I agree that we've probably fallen short on that.
I think that needs to be something we work on a regular basis. We did a wage study just before I came to work at the county. I think it was 2016, 2017 timeframe. and work to improve wages after that to some people that were out of line. But I think that we have to be proactive to some degree in understanding what each department is doing. I respectfully appreciate that elected officials are somewhat treated equally, but we have different jobs and different demands within our departments, and we're all paid equally. So while we all have to answer the phones when they ring as elected officials and people that serve the public, I think there's different things that we do, and those wages are not created equal. They're created equal because we're all elected officials. And, that's one conversation by itself, but like what we do in the 9 total years that I've been at the county, I've not had one commissioner or council member ever step foot in my office and say, tell me what you really do in this office. The things that I do are executive level type of positions. And I would say the same for other department heads within the county that are elected officials. So those that are department heads that are not elected are getting paid more than the elected officials for doing similar type of required tasks for their departments. While some are specialty things and specialty certified or training is needed, they're all valuable. And I just ask for a fair assessment and an ongoing basis for the future of what we currently have. I think I spoke with a council member that said they learned of a company at the AIC conference last week that we could partner with to explore that and stay in front of it on a proactive instead of reactive. I think we're going to get back to the place where we have to do a wage assessment and they play catch up again. If we wait 10 years to do it and we don't stay in front of it, it's going to continue to come back and get us. Again, that's from the financial side. It's over at the county, the commissioner, the council side instead of the commissioners. But I think that it's a continued collaboration effort to make sure that we're offering good packages as a whole to current employees.
Mr. Hull, didn't the council at the last meeting there, you're kind of ramping that up again, right? To do a wage study again, or
Yeah, they're kind of build off what Craig and Charmaine had done in the past, and maybe have a process that's uniform across all employees, because, in the past, when we felt that they requested a raise or whatever, it was kind of all over the place. So we're gonna set some metrics in place through maybe a consultant. I think Brian Craig talked to them at Orange County, so potentially.
Does anybody else want to make a comment on this position?
Well, Andrew Eastler, County Assessor. I agree with Amy. This position is I just found out about this morning. So, we get our proposed budget paperwork and what council is proposing for a raise for everyone. And then I hear, it's 2%, which I don't know if you said 1%, but that's probably net after health insurance increases or whatever. But, if you can only give a 1% to all your current employees, I think this position needs to be put on hold, because why can you fund this position and not give the rest of the employees that are already doing a job for you and for the county, why can't you give them a better raise? It just doesn't add up. Maybe the position's necessary and needed, but also are the rest of your employees. I feel like, I'm gonna take a decrease because, your hourly or your bi-weekly employees are gonna get an extra paycheck next year. Us annual employees, we're not.
That is correct.
So we're gonna probably take a decrease. So, that's not even thought about. So, position should be funded until you can bring the rest of the employees up to snuff. It's my feeling.
I think there's just so many unknowns. Just to add on the financial side, we talked about the amount that this is going to get funded at, but I think the unknowns of the whole Senate Bill 1 and the effect of how that trickles down to us. We have so many questions and we don't know how that's going to be affected. And I feel like from listening to the AIC conference with the council members last week, the effect is they're gonna cut property taxes coming to us, and then we're gonna have to increase local income tax to our taxpayers, and then that'll help offset our loss coming in those property taxes. So we'll end up getting some money, but we're taxing more in other places, and I just think that's not gonna sit well with voters and taxpayers. And then we're responsible enough to be in a good place that we can add this position, but I just don't know if it's the most responsible decision right now. That's my feedback. So, thank you for listening to me and taking my email and giving me the time back on a Sunday. I appreciate it. I'm happy to have more conversations if you want to talk to me about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig, did you?
I don't know if I can add anything that they've said. I mean, I think it's all, we're all in agreement on this. It seems like a pause would be the prudent thing to do right now. That's, I think we're all of us in the courthouse. Not speaking for everybody, but that's been the discussion here in the last couple of days. We would like to see a pause.
Stuart Wilson from 911. Being not in our clerk's position and being appointed by the commissioners, I have some concerns. From what I've heard and seen, I do believe there's a lot of validity to the necessity of this position. I think it is probably something that's needed. I have concerns about the timing and speed at which it's coming. I think Amy started to say it, but I would echo that if I were to come to this board and ask for a position today, you would strongly encourage or maybe require me to enter the regular budget process that for me starts in June. My budget was due to the auditor's office by first week of July, whatever the timing was there. So that is a concern that I have. I don't think the money part of it is being held to the same standard that I am held when I have to submit my budget. That doesn't take away from the necessity of the position, but I state that it's just something that I've seen and that I feel like is different rules for this particular position. Another concern that I have, one of the bigger ones, is regarding the wages, which I understand is a council issue. But I would echo to tell our employees that we don't have enough money for us to receive anything more than a 2% raise and then fund what could be a 3% raise. That is concerning, and I think it can be a morale killer. We've set records with our employee retention at 911, and part of the reason that we set those records is for a very good benefit package and comparatively high wages compared to all of the neighboring counties. We provide a premium level service. We have a premium level employee. For me as department head, I've been a 40-hour-a-week department head. And even though I am just a smidge higher than the elected officials, very close, I attempted to get that amount increased. I was, for 3 years, I was paid at 1 penny an hour above the minimum for my wage scale. That was increased an additional 3% of this budget year to the year before. Hourly, I am still the lowest paid department head in the entire county. And that's a bitter pill to swallow every day when I come to work. The ranges are incredibly tight because of mistakes from, maybe it was 20 years ago, or maybe it was 10 years ago. So I would echo that the wage scale study is probably overdue and very necessary, and have concerns about where this position fits in. There are department heads that make $10,000 more a year than I do, and we don't close. I have a 24/7, 365 responsibility, and if I were to poll my staff today, 16 other people at 911, and say, I'm retiring, I would encourage you to apply for my position. The answer is no on every single one of them because of the responsibility and the load that comes with that position. I don't have a predecessor to mentor. I don't have a replacement plan because nobody wants the job. I enjoy the job. I'm not there for the money, but eventually that does become an issue. day in and day out. In order for us to retain good quality department heads that are not elected officials, or probably the elected officials are in the same boat, you have to compensate them appropriately. And I am concerned about a mismatch already, but I appreciate your time to speak. I know I wasn't necessarily planning on to jump in. Thank you for hearing my concerns.
Anybody else? Might as well hear if anybody else has anything.
I'll say, I'm Greg Schneider at the Sheriff's Office. Biggest concern is financially, back to, we can't find any more than a 2% raise to give our current employees within DuBois County. Yet, we can dig in and find this substantial amount of money to create a new position. Speaking on law enforcement behalves, we are a department. We assist, and we are paid less than Jasper Police Department, we're paid less than the Heidelberg Police Department, yet we can find this money to create a position instead of taking care of the current employees that we do have. I feel like it's a slap in the face to all current county employees that all they deserve is a 2% raise. However, we can find this money to create a new position. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I guess the thing I take away from most of what everybody has said is, it's not that anybody's saying this position is not necessary, this position is a complete waste, it's that they didn't like the process, the pay. I don't even think I've heard anybody say that the pay for this position is terrible, or that that's the huge problem. The problem is, what are we doing for our current employees, right? So I think that those are kind of different issues, because I'll tell you, and I've told this story before, I had a job where I was making a certain amount of money. Let's say I was making $10 an hour, just for argument's sake. I was happy with $10 an hour until I found out that the person that I was training in was making $12 an hour. And then my wage seemed a whole lot worse, right? And that's kind of what, and it does, it feels like a slap in the face. I've been there and I feel that. So somebody that's busting their hump here, doing the daily work of the county, you're making do with your wage until you find out that somebody else that's coming in that's brand new, and then you see, oh, they're gonna make, depending on the position, 50 cents an hour more, $4 an hour more, whatever the amount is. And yeah, I can see how that is a negative thing. I definitely have been there. And so that tells me a couple things. One, that the county can do better with our employees. I think, as I mentioned to you, I hope to step up next year and assist the council in any way that I can, to make sure that things are staying equitable and that we're doing a good job for people. I watched the council meeting, and there were some people that were wanting an 80% raise to probably 5% was the discussion. And I think we can do better there. So I just know we can do better. Regarding this position, I think there's a necessity. The pay was determined by the council. In transparency, this is a position that I've thought since my first year as a council or a commissioner, I thought was necessary. A lot of counties have it. There's a lot of people that as you've heard at the council meeting last week, a lot of counties have this and they're really seeing good results from it. Also, this was brought up 2 months ago at a meeting here, so I don't know, I guess people just weren't aware of it. So to hear that one of our elected officials said this is the first they've heard of it was this morning, it's not because it hasn't been talked about. It was talked about here, and it was put forward as a position that we were in favor of. And the council has talked about it in multiple of their meetings as well. But again, what we're going to do today, I assume, is we're going to bring it up for discussion, for consideration. And we'll just see where that goes, I suppose. I'm not going to vote. I'm going to abstain. And this is another part of the transparency. I thought that this job was important from day one, but it's a job that I may apply for myself. So I'm not going to vote for it. So I know I put the heat on these two. But I just wanted people to know that. I assume most people know that, because I think I've talked to Amy privately about it at events, and I've mentioned it to other people that I think this is critical. I love DuBois County more than anything. I love doing this work, but it's more work than a person with a full-time job can do the level that I think it needs. And I think the county is hurting because of that. I think if we don't have this position, we don't start at January 1st, it's another year that we don't get things, as many good things done for the citizens that we need to. And do this law enforcement not get paid enough? They don't. Do the other offices not get paid appropriately? I think we can do better in that area. And this could be a person that is on that wage study, for example, a person that can spend time doing this. And you're right, it's a wish list. There's a lot on there, but I would have high hopes for this position. And I think that, I don't know, I think I'm going to leave it at that. But anybody else? Start with Commissioner Hostetter. I've been doing the lion's share of the speaking like usual.
I would mention back when we hire a helps coordinator that it was discussed at that time that that helps coordinator could possibly transition into the county administrative position. That ended up not going that direction, but it was discussed way back then. So it's gone on for quite a while. I don't think necessarily, other than the helps and a couple of weeks ago, I don't think it's like something that we did a lot of talk about in meetings. We didn't talk about it really outside of meetings either. So it's not for lack of transparency. I didn't have a lot to do with this. I think, Mike, I don't know the other members of your committee, Cerise, worked on the job description and whatnot. Agreed, a little bit of a wish list, but I think that's kind of how all these things start out. Kind of have to get into a group to start figuring out exactly how it's going to work. And I would hope that we could accomplish many of the things on that job description. But I think mainly, there's a lot of work to do amongst us three commissioners, and we're all full-time employees and, trying to get this done in our free time. And I think it would be a way to get more done from our position if we could have this administrator. As far as wages, I don't know if everyone was happy with their wage after our last wage study. I don't know how to fix that. I'm not on the council. I think it would be great if we could say we've got, our county pays the highest and we keep up with inflation. If inflation's 8%, in an ideal world, everybody would get at least 8% of a raise, right? So you don't lose anything year to year. I don't think we live in an ideal world though. So, it'd be great, but I don't think it's always going to be easy to keep up with inflation, especially the last couple of years we got it really bad. But in years when maybe inflation's normal, maybe that's a good chance to play some catch up. I don't know those answers. That's for our council to figure out. As far as wage study goes, I would be 100% behind doing it again. I think 10 years ago was long enough ago that we definitely need to look at it again and get people.
Definitely. I didn't realize it was 10 years since we've had a wage study. That should have been done a lot sooner. We went through this job description probably 4 different times. I am concerned about the wages that you currently have, and I think definitely we need to take a look at it. I do support this position only for the fact there are several projects out there that we don't have time for. The county council, everybody's got full-time jobs, and when we run for this position, we realize that. We know that we have full-time jobs, our plates are full, and we try to dedicate our time to these other projects as much as possible. So I think this particular person would be concentrating on the things that we can't spend a lot of time with. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
So I don't think in our previous meeting, like I said, it was probably 2 months ago, the board approved moving forward with the position pending the development of a job description, right? So the job description is finished. the council has funded the position. And so I guess the role of our board today would be to either move to create the position officially and fully, or to not. And this would be a position that is an appointment position. We have several other positions that are appointed. So anywhere from the highway superintendent, the highway engineer, county custodian, we have the highway assistant. So I mean, there's a number of them that we do that every year. And this would be one of those. So this would be funded on a year-to-year basis. I would hope that whoever gets this position, if I'm a commissioner and we hire a person for this position, I'm gonna hold them to the fire. They better prove their value. If they don't prove their value, there's no reason to have you around. We can, if we're not moving the ball forward, if we're not getting additional grants, if things aren't more efficient, if communications aren't better, we get rid of it.
Right.
And that's what I would expect from any board of commission. So the thing is, the people we appoint now, we evaluate them every year. Mr. Schneider has been reappointed because he does a good job. These folks are new, so we haven't had a chance to reappoint them, but the people before them, we look at them on a year-to-year basis. And if they weren't doing the job, if we said, hey, the bridge you designed, we had a lot of problems with it, whatever, it could be anything, and we would treat them the same as that. And I hope that's what future boards of commissioners would do as well. So it would be a position that would go through the hiring process. People would take resumes, applications, there would be a hiring committee, and the final decision would be made by the board. So does anyone want to make a motion regarding this position today?
You're looking at me. Are you not sure? No.
I guess my question would be for the people here that spoke today. If we created this position today, how could you be okay with that?
I'll be asking for a raise at the council meeting. My staff, I'll be asking for the stipends that I'm allowed to get by statute. I'll be asking for my department what I think that I passed over in the past to open the conversation for future. I don't know if that'll still make me happy. I'll still be bitter, but I understand the position is needed.
Well, and that's
I
kind of where
understand
I'm
that
at. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it's a needed position. But I want to make sure you guys are happy. And I think right now, you guys are more important than this position.
Well, I think if it would have been done back in June, we would have had time to do all that. Now it's like there is no time because the budget's already advertised now. You can't increase it anymore for next year.
Do it the right way, but take care of your current employees first.
I think with department head meetings that we've had in the past, it would have been nice if somebody came to our department head meeting and say, hey, we're thinking about this position. How would that benefit your department? What are some things that are maybe not being done in your office that maybe we can further along or anything too? So that wasn't asked of department heads. And I feel like that's another valuable point, that maybe a missed opportunity to hear what the department's said. Now granted, it may have been negative, but you've got the information from others as well.
Every one of us has a chief deputy who basically steps in when we aren't there or they help us. Why can't this position kind of be like a secretary chief deputy in a way?
So maybe this would be a good thing to bring up. And I'm not sure if you have an answer, but I'll ask, because again, I've mentioned to the board and I mentioned to a number of people over years that I thought that this was I prefer that there was a single county executive. I know that won't happen. I can't change the state law. That I thought this was a second place thing that would be good. And it's been, like we said, it's been talked about for a long time. A lot of people see the need. I had never brought it up. I never brought it up publicly to say, I think we need a county executive. I think we should do it. And the reason I never did that was because I thought that was a job that I may potentially want. I think that looks bad. I think that it's just, I don't think it looks good. So I brought up my opinion outside of here, starting my first year. I thought If anybody else is ever interested in bringing this forward, great. I'm in support of it. I think it's very important. So a couple months ago, I think Commissioner Stefanogle brought it up. And you had been talking with some council members, and maybe it was from meetings that you'd been to, like maybe the county council's a regional meeting or yearly meeting. I think they talked about it there for the last several years, and it was brought up. So can you explain maybe how it was brought up several months ago?
Just one council member, basically, has been in discussion for quite some time. We never actually met, but it was brought up a few times. So then we just met with you and Marky.
So again, I don't know why it was brought up 2 months ago where it hadn't been brought up before that, but that's how that happened. Okay. Well,
It's been brought up a few times, it's just not went anywhere, and this person said it was time, so I said, well, we'll sit down and discuss it, and that's on from there.
it was time, you studied it, he studied it, you got together, and then you called a little committee together. Well,
From there.
as I said, if somebody wants to make a motion, they can. If they do not want to make a motion, then we will move on.
I will make that motion for the county administrator position.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to officially create the county administrator position. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
One in favor, one opposed, and one abstaining. The motion dies. Okay, let's move on to the next item.
So you were against, I went on the minutes, right?
So, the motion was made,
Yes.
the motion
It
was
was duly
seconded,
seconded, but then it died due to a lack of.
then it wasn't approved.
There's no majority.
No majority.
So, okay, let's move on to the next item. So the comprehensive plan is something that I mentioned earlier in the meeting, that we are having our first steering committee meeting tomorrow. We also have a comprehensive plan survey that is out in the public, and that survey will remain open until at least the 10th of this month. We encourage people to still take that survey. We've had around 900 responses so far, which is more than double what our consulting firm thought we would get, so that's pretty strong. And the steering committee meeting again is tomorrow. And yeah, I'll keep the board up to date on how things are going with that. I did also bring some of these cards. These are cards that were provided by American Structure Point. I'll give each of you, 3 or 4 of them. These are things that have QR codes that you can, somebody with their phone can scan those, and they'll take them to the survey if they want. So please hand those out if you can. Try to get people to take that survey. Or if you want more, you're welcome to them. Anybody have any questions on the comprehensive plan? Where we're at with that? Okay, another issue, veteran burial benefits. So I met with the VSO Speedy last month. We talked, there's been a person who had a family member, this person was from out of town, get a family member here locally, DuBois County veteran who passed away, and he made some comments about that the county he was from, they gave so much more as a veteran's burial benefit than we did locally. He said that, I don't remember what I told you, auditor, I think he said $500 or $1,000.
I thought you said 1,000 or 5,000, but I never got.
Right, so I think he told me $500 or $1,000 was the benefit they get. Here, we have $100 for the.
$100 towards the burial, $500 or $50 towards the marker on the.
So it's not a whole lot of money that we do. The auditor was great. She emailed some people.
I reached out to all the county auditors on our auditors email string and asked them to respond, and I had 17 respond, telling me what they give. 17 out of 92, so. And the one that you talked about didn't respond, so I couldn't confirm or deny that one. It ranged anywhere from not giving anything to giving up to $1,000 for both items.
So I think when I did,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them on here that do the 100 like we do.
and one was 350, one was 200, one 500, 400, 200, but
Yeah.
probably the majority is at the $100 level.
Right.
Newton County did $1,000, so they're an outlier by at least 2 times some of the other counties. So I think when, I thought I did the math here, that the average of what people gave was.
From who responded.
From who responded, right. I thought I had that on here. What was it? $258 was the average. Oh yeah, here it is. Veterans burial. $258 was the average given for the burial based on the 20 or so or 18 we have here. And the marker was $83. So I guess the question to our board is, do we want to do anything with that? Do we want to make our burial and marker benefit any greater than it is now? So again, we're at $100 and $50. I guess I would like to do that. I think that it's $100 or $50 almost isn't worth your time to come in and fill out the paperwork because of.
Well, they do it at the funeral home, we pay the funeral home. The funeral home does the cost of the burial, and then the 100 they bill us for, and then the families bill the rest.
So in this guy's case, because of circumstances, I guess he came in and it became a problem with him and he wasn't having a good deal with the service officer. But you're saying generally, it's not a
Generally,
burden on the family.
we get the invoice or the claim from the funeral homes, and then we pay the funeral home.
And so is there a line item specifically
You guys
for
have a
this,
line
right?
item in your budget,
And if we were to raise this, then that would just be
more money
make
out of
that
that
money
line item.
to go out of that. I guess I would favor increasing them a little bit. I don't think we need to get to the $500 or $1,000, but it's been $100 and $50 for 20 years at least. So I was thinking maybe $250 and $100.
Like I said, that comes out of your line item, so if we run out of it, we will have to come and get more money.
Or we could do $200 and $100. That would be a doubling.
I don't know
of
if we
both
do
of
as
them.
many markers. I don't know if people do the markers as much, but I know the burial.
Mr. Schneider, you have a comment?
If I can interject here, yeah. So I think before the statute was allowed for 100 for each, the marker and then the burial itself. Quick review here, since this is coming up, July 1, 2025, it said an amount of 1,000, but what I'm reading here requires that an ordinance would be put into place to basically make that change. So conversation can occur, but before you approve it, I'd ask that I draft an ordinance reflecting whatever direction y'all want to go.
So we can do the $100 without an ordinance?
Anything above, you have to.
That was the old statute, that statute's been repealed, so I think that's what that number was based upon. It was 100 for the burial, and then we were doing 50, it sounds like, but it was up, you could do 100 for the marker, for setting the marker. But then, again, and I apologize, I haven't done a great amount of research on this, but there was an emergency effective July 1, 2025 that put some of these allowances in place. But what I'm reading here, no more than $1,000, and if you want to direct me to work on an ordinance, kind of setting forth what those wishes may be, then I can do that. Before you approve something.
Sure.
Now, I did put out this request last week when most counties were traveling to AIC, so I may get some more responses. I don't know.
I'd be satisfied to have Mr. Schneider put together an ordinance and double what we're doing currently, $200 and $100. And from what you're saying, the majority of people would probably
I thought
just.
we do 250 and keep the other at 50. It's the same amount total, but since most people are using it for burial.
It's for, they don't distinguish the categories at this point.
Okay.
Which is why some
So we
are
just
max,
go $300.
some are up to $1,000, right, for
Yeah,
whatever.
some
that
say
may be.
toward both.
So I guess as an example, maybe there's not a marker, but there was a cremation and something else. Not a headstone. I don't know. I'm not in the business, but
And you can also see, is burial considered the same as other final
sure.
determinations, right? So we hate for it to say $300 for a burial, but if you cremate, you get nothing or something. So it's whatever the final. So let's just, are you okay with $300 being the total amount? And
Yes.
and then would we take the $50 off of the marker if someone wants a marker? And is the marker just like the add-ons, something that sticks in the ground, or
It's good, what it puts on the headstone.
it's like an additional
It's
plaque?
like a veteran military.
Oh, something specific to the
It's
service.
on the,
Okay. So just leave that.
So do you want to do 250 and 50? I mean, is what our practice will be, and the ordinance may have to say $300.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Schneider, if you work on that for next time, that'd be great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
and then let's put a date on it, like it's effective whenever. Because if somebody dies today and tomorrow,
Sure.
I mean,
My-
sometimes we don't get
My
these
plan
claims.
would be to make it effective on passage. So
because we may get invoiced today and then they'll say, hey, why didn't I get that?
have you both seen this? You have, right? You have a copy of it?
Yes.
Are you okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next item we'll look at is Mr. Schneider put together a memorandum of understanding for remote access to security camera system for the, for only the purposes of, maintenance and protection of county assets for the custodian. I'll move that we approve signing that, memorandum, or that we approve the memorandum to be signed by the custodian.
I'll second.
What's that for?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Here's a copy. Next up, we have JAVS, so JAVS Maintenance and Support Agreement. Mr. Schneider, do you have anything you want to talk about on that one?
I had reviewed it. I sent our required terms, I think, to circuit court judge, and I think those were all approved by the contractor.
Correct.
Both judges will split the,
Okay, and the pay will come out of existing, because there was a concern about that last week, but I think that's been taken care of. So the long story short is that there's equipment that they have, recording equipment, and
we're having some issues and they want some support on it.
the warranty period is over soon, and this is just going to extend that and do preventative maintenance and support. Anybody have any questions or comments on this agreement?
No.
I'll move that we approve the JAVS extended warranty preventive maintenance and support agreement.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And it looks like here that it says, accepted by customer, and it's listed as DuBois County Courts. So I will, if it's okay with the board, we'll let Judge Burkamp and or Judge Quinn sign that agreement. That sound good, Mr. Chairman?
It does, yes, again, elected official.
Next. Wanted to make the board aware that Brandy Quinn and Eric Beers and Brandy are people that are helping the JRAC, the Justice Reinvestment Act Committee, with applications for grants and various things that we're doing. So if you remember about a month ago, maybe a couple months ago, we had something that we approved from DuBois County Cares, where they were going to be doing education in classrooms, and they were asking for a letter of financial support from the county. We gave that to them, and I just wanted to let you know that the application for this one-time matching grant from the FSSA to support that DuBois County Cares action has been turned in. The timeline to find out whether we were awarded or not will be on or before December 12th. And Brandy is the point of contact on that. So we will hear something, and hopefully that will be approved. Wanted to share a couple, a document here. This was sent to me from the VSO last week, and I just wanted to bring it up for the board's information. So the VSO stated some of the following information here, that they had a booth over at the Herbst Fest. And he said that their booth turned out to be a true hub of connection. They had 300 people come and talk to them, many of them veterans and their families. At that time, they scheduled multiple appointments. And when they got back to the office the following week, they had 24 walk-ins that first day.
Wow.
Which sounds great, but it's kind of disruptive to their day. But it's a good thing overall that the word is out there and veterans were coming, understanding that there's some help available there. There's a big demand, and that office helps them navigate their benefits. And he wants to let us know again that his office, he says, urgently needs more people and more hours to keep up with the pace. So what I responded to him and what I've been saying to others, like Mr. Flynn, who will be part of our comprehensive plan tomorrow, let's get all of that information. Let's put everything that we want to do in that comprehensive plan so that we can have a goal, have it in writing, what we want to do, what between the comprehensive plan study committee and what the commissioners and council approve, so that we have something to shoot for. We can decide, make decisions if more staff, a different location, what we want the future of that to look like. I don't want it to be a knee-jerk reaction and then we add a bunch of staff and then we end up not needing it if the demand goes down or something.
Right.
But due to federal laws changing, more veterans are eligible for more benefits. So there's going to be an influx because this is a somewhat recent change. One of the concerns that we have when we talk about it is that once that initial rush is over, will there still be a need for a number of more employees? And I'm not sure that that's been hashed out yet. But anyway, it's good to hear that they had a successful event over there, and I appreciate him working on that. Did you have some surplus items?
I do. I have 2 dehumidifiers that do not work any longer.
They don't dehumidify?
They don't do anything. And Scott would like to dispose of them.
Okay, anybody have any issues with that?
Nope.
No issues.
I'll move that we approve the discarding of the dehumidifiers.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, another item is this one, so I have more paper for you. Put your initials on top there. This next part has to do with, Sandy, there's one of those for you if you would like that. Okay, so, yeah, same thing. So we've had a request for opioid settlement funds from IRAC, the RISE program. They have a 30% request. 30% of what? 30% of their budget for the next year, which would start January 1st. I believe their total amount is in the range of $320,000. So 30% of that will be approximately Du Bois County funding $107,237. If things go as the budget is currently put together, the commissioners will have that amount of money available within our budget to make a payment out of the opioid funds. This would be, and the second document there, the one with more pages, Exhibit E. That's the one on the left. To use the restricted fund, it has to fall within something on this document. And what I requested from Vanessa, who is in charge of this program, was to put together a single page document for us, highlighting exactly what they're doing. So she did that. And she also, in the middle there where it says alignment with Exhibit E, the approved uses of the settlement funds, she gave us all of the correct sections, subsections of this document showing where the request does align with these. I don't remember what it was, but the auditor and I met with 2 representatives from the Sheriff's Department and 2 representatives from this program, because I didn't want us to approve it if the Sheriff's Department didn't find that there was value within it, because it's operating substantially within the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff and Chief Deputy are both in favor of moving forward with this. And I would be too. Like I said, though, if the sheriff wasn't finding value in it, I wasn't going to support it, because I want to make sure that they're online. So they're doing individual recovery planning while people are incarcerated. There's 30-day reentry support post-release. I think that's a really important part, because sometimes in the past, people are let out of jail with nothing. They go back to the same house, they go back to the same everything that they had with not enough tools. And these people, the people here will help them post-release. And they are probably maybe most importantly, they're facilitating evidence-based groups within the security center so that people can at least get a good start on treatment and recovery. So I guess my question to the group here is, does this look like a use of the opioid settlement funds that you can be supportive of? I'm not going to ask for a vote today because you've just been given a bunch of information, but she will be here, the representative from this program, the Rise Peer Recovery, will be here at our next meeting.
Okay.
And expecting an answer from us, because if they don't get funded from us, I guess they're going to be 30% short on the project next year. Any questions today?
No. She's coming in.
I think you put her on.
Yes, she is.
On which date, Sandy?
The next meeting, she'll be here at 9.
The 20th.
20.
Yeah, October 20th.
And if you want her contact information, anything like that, you can, I'm sure it's online, or you can just contact me and I'll share that with you. But I think it's, it's a decent size ask. $100,000 is a decent ask, so something we need to consider. Okay, I was hoping to have a department head meeting this Wednesday, but I got behind and just didn't get it to happen. So I'm hoping to do that maybe on the next Wednesday. What I was going to ask is if the board had any topics they wanted brought up. Some of the topics I was going to discuss were the Mid-States Corridor, using HR when doing hiring, drug screening rules if an employee is involved in an accident, talk about the clinic, and also talk about the comprehensive plan. Those are some of the things that I was going to talk about.
I was gonna say the clinic. You got that covered.
So if you come up with anything else you want to talk about during that, let me know and we'll add it. Otherwise, I've asked if, I don't know if they have, I asked it.
Can you look at my calendar and see if Wednesday the 15th I'm free?
So before I set this up, I asked if Marky and the auditor were available to make sure that everybody was there.
I know the week after I'm going at a conference. Yes, 8 a.m. Thank you. All right, bye. I'm free that day.
Okay, so maybe when you get back to the office, you might just secure the office? So we'll have that.
I can look at that here.
So what day would that be? That'd be
15th.
15th. Did you look at your calendar?
Did I look at my calendar? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Let's see, what's next?
Appointments?
There was something else I wanted to discuss with everybody. Okay, so one other thing that I have here, I met with a group of people, Carla, Donnie, Christina, Sean, and myself. We met regarding the property maintenance and unsafe building ordinances that we have. Some of the things that we did, we had a little presentation that showed some code enforcement software. I think we all thought, oh, wow, that's really nice. And then we find out it's $600 a month. And so we would have to justify that. It's the same thing the city uses, yeah. I'm not sure what they pay, but we would have to, I think the only way we really justify that is if we have an ordinance enforcement officer, which we have money in the budget for a 15 hours a week person to do that. We've had them do that before. But if that person was just really on top of it, we had a lot of complaints, and I mean, it would have to be considerable increase over what we're doing now for me to think that that's justified. But it looked like great software. They encourage, I think they're looking at, let's say if it was a county person, they go out, they have an iPad, they go out on the field, they see what the problem is, they type it all up, and they can have a report done on the field, right? They can move on to the next one, and it's just kind of efficient, but it's, you pay for that. Another thing that I picked up from those that are involved at that meeting was that health, solid waste, highway, what usually happens, a complaint comes in and they try to work with the person. They go through a lot of the process, try to get them to clean it up, to move it, to trash it, whatever those situations are. And they do their best to resolve it. And I think one of the concerns that those people had was once it hits the commissioners, they want us to be a little more aggressive, maybe for lack of a better term, or a little more firm with where we are, because they've already had a bunch of, a couple strikes. They've had a couple swings at the ball. They've had chances to fix it. And when it comes to us, maybe we could be just a little stronger with our position, I guess, is what they're thinking. And I told them, I tried to explain that, we're, for one, we're public facing. For two, this may be the first time we heard anything about the situation. So there may be some time that we've got to kick it down the road so that we learn more about it, because we want to respect the rights and the properties of all these people. But I can understand where they come from, where they maybe have worked with somebody for a month, 2 months or more. They're frustrated. The people haven't done anything. They're not talking to them. Then they come in here and they're saying, oh, but I'm really trying. And then these guys are like, you haven't been trying for all these months. So, but I understand it can be frustrating from the initial people trying to enforce this for us and do the work. So just something we can keep in mind, I guess, that we are going to have another meeting coming up soon. I don't remember when, but within the next 2 weeks. 13th. Okay, on the 13th. And the health department, they said they'd like to see a staff person or somebody that can help take the load off of them, because when multiple ones come in, it takes them away from the other work that they're doing, right? And that health department said they like the software too, but again, we go back to that price, $7,200 a year is quite a bit. At our next meeting, each of them are going to bring back what their process is for when they meet with a person in violation, so that we can kind of share that and maybe put together a standardized process. I think that's kind of the goal for that. One of the other comments was that should we develop a fee schedule? And I didn't think I liked that as much, because each case can be so different. A person could come in and they could have a story where they're really taking an effort, and they may have one piece of metal in the front yard versus a guy that has 50. Right now, I wouldn't want to put that there is a $100 a day fee for, they're both in violation. I hate to have part of me thinks that I don't like a flat schedule, because every case is unique, but I wanted to bring it up. So if either of you wanted to think about it, fee schedule. I did see an article in the Fergan News about the city of Jasper. It says here, they're likely going to increase they have a standard, I guess more of a standard municipal code and fee schedule, and that they're probably going to be increasing theirs at their October meeting. So it's something that they're dealing with as well.
Speaking of code enforcement, Mr. Slogan did not pay his final fine you issued, so we'll be needing to work with Greg on
what we had done on the
certifying it to the
prior
tax
ones.
roll.
Yes.
Okay, so then when that individual gets their tax bill in May, it'll be an additional assessment. If it doesn't get paid, it'll be on.
Might be on this fall.
I don't know this one.
Oh, because we're going 30 days out. Well, it might, depends.
Do they revise this tax statement?
We send corrected ones out.
Corrected statements, okay.
I don't know, we'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
So anyway, if he gets 3 behind on it, then we go through the tax sale process. But I don't I hope that will not happen. Okay. DuBois County appointments, I printed these for everybody, I don't know if you
I
needed
have
me
them.
to or not. You're good?
I have one.
You want one? Are you good?
I think I might have one. The girls printed one out for me.
So usually this is something that we discuss multiple times, multiple meetings to make sure that we get all of these filled. Sometimes we get surprises and people don't want to continue with what they're doing, and other times we have long-time people doing it. So the first one that we talked about was because there was a change in statute about the Property Tax Board of Appeals. Does anybody have an update on that? I know that I reached out to Mr. Smith. He would like to do the 1 year. And I'd asked if one of you could reach out to
I have
Mr.
not reached
Pearson.
out to Mr. Pearson yet. I got that email this morning. I didn't think it was an appropriate time to call him. So,
Okay.
and seeing there, that just has to be done by the end of the year. It'll be done. So.
Okay, so hopefully, I'm gonna put down that. Hopefully, you could say, Mr. Pearson, would you serve it up 2-year term? And then Mr. Smith could do 1, and Mr. Abel could do 2. And the reason again for that is they want them staggered so that not the whole board is.
Right.
Ours is never turned over completely in any given year, but it potentially could. And regarding the rest of these, do we want to go through the whole list and get the process started? Usually we.
I've reached out to a couple of people already, so if you want mine, you can put a check mark beside them.
Let's give it an opening run here. First one, 4-H Council Board, we have Ed Bagelin and Commissioner Stefanogle.
He's a yes, I've reached out to Ed already.
Okay, what about for yourself?
I'm a yes unless someone else wants to take it. Nick, you interested?
Not interested.
Okay, so we've got that one filled. Like that? We're gonna move right on. The next one, the 911 Advisory Board, I will make a call to Scott. He's been on there as long as it's been around, so I'm thinking he probably will be on it again. I will be happy to do it again. I think that's good.
Okay.
Airport Authority,
I talked to Ken, he's a yes.
well, good. Mr. Ring with the Alcohol Beverage Commission, it's a 1-year appointment. I can call him.
I don't know, Mr. Ring.
Okay, so I will call him. Put a little star there. Mr. Young, I talk to him pretty regularly, so I will check with him on ambulance coordinator and also with Amanda Ferguson as assistant. I can check both of those. The next one is Area Development Corporation, DuBois Strong.
That's you, Chad.
I've been on that one for a couple of years since Mr. Brahmas has been off of the board. I'm happy to let someone else do it, or I'm happy to continue to serve. Anybody have a desire?
I think you're doing great.
Yeah, if you're into it, do it.
Okay, we'll call that one good. Custodian and attorney, those are both appointments. How about this, just to make, Mr. Schneider, would you like to serve another term?
Yes, I'll accept.
Is the board okay with that for now, or should we shop?
I'll shop around, but I mean.
For now, okay, that's good.
Fair enough. I wonder if the hammer's free.
Give me 1 more year so I don't have to break anybody else's door in my term.
He's not free. And unless our board gets hit by a semi, he probably doesn't want to talk to us.
I think last year was 2-1 if I recall the vote.
Against? Or, anyway.
You wouldn't be here then.
I'll talk to Scott.
Okay.
Child Protection Team?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're fine there?
Mhm.
Okay, so we've got Emergency Management Advisory Council. So there's a whole number of people here. Is it correct that these are, by the nature of their position,
I believe within reason, and I'll actually reach out to Tammy and have her work with me on this.
Okay, so we're gonna put Nick down to check all that out, because I would guess with the nature of who these people are, it's the head of Holland, head of Ferdinand, I would assume it's just that the municipalities are involved, so. That's that one. Ferdinand Planning Commission, Mark Dilger?
I don't know, Mark Gilbert,
I don't either.
Me neither.
or your term. I don't know who he is.
If somebody can get me contact, I'd be happy to reach out to him.
Same here, I have no clue.
Anyone in the room?
First name?
Mark? How about this?
Over there, or?
Am I really digging up?
Yeah.
And then I'll dig up who the next one is. Health Department, Ryan Flamian, Dwayne Hof. They're both come up this year. One is this is a political appointment, so one is a Democrat, one is a Republican. Anybody have relationships with these folks?
I don't know.
I don't either, but I think I can maybe make that one happen, so.
Work with Sean, otherwise.
Pardon me?
Work with Sean.
Yes. Can you guys tell us if Ann wishes to continue? Or what? Ann? She's an appointment. We had to appoint AMS for every year. Just let me know, confirm that she wants to continue. Would the two of you like to continue in your roles for next year? You're both appointments too.
Yeah, I would like to continue.
Okay.
That's what she says, he just got here.
I gotta get at least a year in.
Yeah, we don't want to boot you, all right, until we get full chance.
Don't even think about it.
Okay, so we've got check marks there. The Huntingburg Public Library Board.
I'll get that one.
Okay. Would you like to stay with Regional 15, Mr. Hostetter?
Yes, please.
Public Library Board?
I don't know, Pamela. Anybody?
I do.
Can you reach out, please?
I pass her house every day, I can tell you that.
Okay, we're gonna put down Mr. Schnare for that one.
Which one?
Pamela Cat.
Thank you.
No problem. Margaret Wagner for the Museum Board, 3-year term.
Hurry.
I think I can probably take care of that one. Northeast DuBois Fire Protection District.
I have reached out to Steve and he's to call me back. So that's a question mark at the moment.
Cerise, can we put you down for both of those folks?
Yes.
Okay. Tony Hassenauer for the Park and Rec Board.
You can probably do that one.
Okay. We've already talked about the Property Tax Board of Appeals. Solid Waste, Ken Sicard. I gave him an email. Tourism Committee, Chris Treader and James McFall. Anybody want to do those?
I can get a hold of the tourism. I'll make a call there.
TriCap Board of Directors, so Emily Meyer is no longer an employee of the county. You don't need to be an employee of the county to be on this appointment.
Okay.
But I will have to find a way to reach out to her to see if she would like to continue to be on that board and see what her interest is. We may need to do a replacement there, but I'll find a way to reach out to her.
Okay.
Weed Control Board, so this is something that I do have this down as a separate item on my agenda here, because this has been something where
I just wanted to be on there.
Mr. Leakin has been, and we've always, so my memory of the rules for the state is that commissioners have to appoint the highway superintendent or someone else. I think isn't that how it was listed?
I think so.
I think it's either this person or we can appoint someone else. It seems like, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, that the weed board component of your job is taking up more time than we probably, or that we as a board would probably be interested in you continuing to do.
I got a phone call Saturday morning and a 15-minute phone call. I was driving, so not that big a deal, but I got 2 texts this morning. It's like, wow. It's crazy. It's with the Johnson grass, and I understand this one farmer that is complaining because he was an old-time farmer, or I'm sure his dad sent him out in the fields, picking the heads off, putting it in a bag, and taking it back and burning it and spraying the rest of it. I'm sure he was, like I said, he always had to do it, and he's still doing it. And nowadays, nobody wants to take care of their Johnson grass, and he's pretty upset about it, and trying to get a lot of people to take care of it. And it's just
It'd be nice
overwhelming.
if the state started first. I mean, it's bad along.
You're exactly right.
Trying
You're exactly right. And like I said, they have Roundup Ready corn and beans, and they go in there, so the people that are planting beans and corn, they're not too worried about it. Because Roundup Ready to take care of that and don't affect the crop. And then plus, if they go down, if it's on the ditch banks, they don't want to spray their banks because it's going to kill everything. If they can come out with some type of spray that can kill Johnson grass and Johnson grass only, I'm sure.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, they could definitely get rid of it, but as of right now, they don't want to spray the banks and let it all wash out. So I shouldn't say that, but I don't blame the farmer that's wanting to get rid of all of it. But then again, I don't blame the other people not wanting to do anything about it because the state's not doing anything about it, and plus it's not hurting them. So, I don't know.
I don't want to speak on behalf of Donnie, but being 4 months into the highway department, it is taking up a lot of his time. It's not him telling me that, it's me saying that.
Sure.
And he's given a task or role, he's going to take it seriously, and he has, and that's one of the reasons why is when he gets those phone calls, the messages and emails, he listens and he picks up the phone, so it takes that position seriously, it's taking a lot of his time.
And I think the way I've always looked at that position with the superintendent being on the weed board, it's nice to have a highway person there because a lot of the time this is a long county road. And that person can handle the small budget that board has. And I think what we've only expected was the budget used to be $750 or something a year. It wasn't a huge budget. I think the expectation was that the weed board do they meet quarterly or bi-yearly?
Twice.
Bi-yearly. These folks would get together, they would talk about issues in the community, they would decide to take some action. They would take some bit of action for that year, and then they would spray during the appropriate time, and they'd have a meeting again the next year, right? This wasn't something that we ever had thousands and thousands of dollars in. It was something that by statute we had to have together, and we'd take a little bit of action on it every year. But for it to interrupt his primary job of keeping the roads safe and in good condition, I don't want to have that happen. I don't, for me, and you guys tell me if you agree, I don't expect him to go to, he's welcome to if he wants to on his own time, if it's his own thing, but the invasive species boards or any other boards related to this, I don't think it's a requirement that I would have for him to take care of it. I think he should be on the weed board and do the bi-yearly meetings and take some action on some of that.
Isn't that what Kennack is supposed to work on?
I don't want to speak for what other people are supposed to do.
I thought that's what the county agent worked on.
I don't know about remediation.
I didn't hear who she said.
The county agent, the Purdue Extension, are they supposed to be managing any of this?
I didn't know. And then like
Like the ISAC, invasive species awareness coalition, is that part of the county or is that?
And that's a private, as far as I know, it's a private organization. I don't need you to, I wouldn't require that you attend that. I say you're required to attend these two meetings and statutorily do what the law says. Mr. Schneer, can share what that is.
Yeah, so I did look into it a little bit, and again, the supervisor can be appointed, but as, you know, it can also be any representative of the county or an appointee of the county commissioners. However, there is a statute that states that on behalf of the weed board, the county highway supervisor and the soil and water conservation district supervisor or an employee serving the county shall serve as inspectors for the weed control board, make periodic inspections, and report their findings to the board. And if there's an executive director of the board, then as well. I paraphrased the end for clarity.
So can you summarize that? Tell me what that means in summary.
I guess whether or not the highway supervisor was appointed to the board itself, that the highway supervisor by statute is still an inspector for weeds throughout the county on behalf of the weed board. Now, it does say the highway supervisor and the soil and water conservation district supervisor, and it says, or employees serving the county shall do those things, and shall means that they
Must inspect.
Correct. Serve as inspectors for the weed control board. So when these things come up, someone's going to need to inspect them, and those are the people by statute that are supposed to do it.
Okay.
So I don't know I don't know what all the concerns and time concerns are.
So inspecting weeds is a pretty, that there's no real end to that. There's no value to that other than you know where they are. Does the statute further say remediation?
Well, report the findings. They're not necessarily responsible for that. The board would be responsible for their remediations or whatever steps they put in. But that is one of the duties under the statute for the highway supervisor or the soil and the soil and water supervisor or another county employee.
We forward that to the board and to Mr. Leakin and we'll look at it again.
It's in a whole bunch of statutes, but I'll highlight it.
Mr. Leakin, do you have a contact for all of these 4 people?
Yes.
Would you make contact to see if they'd like to serve again? Or would you like us to do that? If you had a relationship, maybe that would be, so I'm gonna put that down. And we will continue to, when he sends that to us, we'll be able to look at that. And again, we want you to do anything you're statutorily required to, but it's not, in my own board with the rest of you, that's not his primary focus. If somebody calls, we serve the public, so we're gonna be kind, but we're not gonna go and jump on every single report, we just can't. There's only so many hours in a day. And I sat and spoke with both of these gentlemen last week, and I was encouraging Donnie and Levi both to don't burn yourself out. Do what you can during your time. Don't kill yourself. We want you here for the long run. We appreciate your effort, your love for the county, and all the effort you're putting in, but we don't want you to burn out. So appreciate your efforts. Take care of yourselves. Does that sound like I don't know.
Hopefully it'll frost soon and they'll die.
And what?
Hopefully it'll frost soon and all the weeds will die.
I hope so. So we will, how about this? We'll, hopefully the board can attack some of these within the next 2 weeks, and we'll see
Do
where we
you
are.
want us to have a final official date that we're gonna make all appointments, or do you wanna just appoint them as you go? Because
We'll just put check marks at the meetings, then we'll have a final time that we
like in
approve it.
December, we'll do a final
Right.
appointment date.
Yes.
That'll help.
That way you can, because you're talking about making the paperwork and
Yes.
doing whatever, yeah, we'll just do that one time. Let's see what else is on here, if anything. Nothing? You ready to get out of here?
I am. That full-time job thing, talk to her.
The certificate of financial responsibility for the item tanks, do you need to do anything with that here, or can we just sign it and have it ready? I don't know what you want me to do.
So we've had tanks out there forever.
Since the 60s.
We've gotten by with doing,
Placed in the 90s.
with whatever system we've had for a long time. Now, one of the inspectors said that according to some administrative code, we have to have a letter of credit or something similar. We're taking care of it. Just want to let you know. Is that okay? We're signing a piece of paper that says that is,
You just signed it.
but that's that.
Actually,
Let's see what else I've got here. It'll be real quick,
we'll
hopefully.
let you take it.
Get back with me again if there's any department head meeting things. We'll do the commissioners' appointments next time.
I don't, not right now.
I think that's everything I have. Mr. Schneer, anything else today?
No.
Auditor? Anything else from Highway Department?
Nothing.
Anything from the public? Seeing none there. Commissioner Stefano?
I have a photo of the Hayesville property if you want to view it.
It seems like tore it all down, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
You see it?
I sent it to, the last 2 Mondays, so not, a week ago and 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was tore down and there was a pile of rubble, and last week it was, seeded. So,
What is it?
what was their last name?
Is it like a Lindsay building?
The bank building in Hayesville, which is one of our
Oh.
problem buildings. It
That
has been destroyed.
But the only thing is the vehicles are still there.
Right, so that'll be a separate issue we'll come back with if,
So,
So anything else? Commissioner Stefano?
No, I'm good. That's all I have.
Commissioner Hostetter?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll close the meeting. I think I forwarded this to you, but again, the state's given us